हेलो व्हाट्सअप वी आर बैक हम आ चुके हैं वापस से विथ फॉर द ग्रुप डी ईपीपीपी ग्रुप डी चलो
And they
और
will
हम
be
आ
playing
गए
from the
हैं
last chance qualifier. Europe's SK Gaming! This is a team with two very experienced players in Yoshi and iChaos, and they're joined by the rising star power of Frenchman OP.
bum 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 bum
Just two more spots remain in tomorrow's playoff bracket, and both of these teams want to get off to the best start possible with a dominant win. But who is going to be taking it? Let's start the action with our casters.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Let's get it started. It's Group D time. I'm excited, man. We get to see Crazy Raccoon, the world champions from last year, at least one world champion on their team, and also a grand finalist as well on their team.
This is the question for me, is this East Asia region going to keep up the pressure on the world? We saw a little bit early this year at SPS Masters, and for Tensai coming third, that's a devastating thing for him. He was actually in tears in that interview, and I gave him a load of credit on social for it, because you can see how much this game really means to him. For him, there is nothing less than first, and for them today, they've got a worthy opposition here with SK Gaming, who had a phenomenal performance throughout the LCQ.
This is without a doubt, I mean, they had a flawless victory there, winning every single match that they went up against, and now they need to continue that kind of success. It has been a very difficult journey for them, though, going through that last challenge. The most recent challenge with the Snapdragon Pro Series has been tremendously difficult for them, so now they need to bounce back. We'll start off here on Field Goal.
Yeah, they didn't drop a single set at LCQ on the side of SK Gaming, but as you rightly say, they have fallen off just a little bit as far as SPS is concerned. Well, no time for that on the world stage. Certainly as well, in terms of those drafts, Pedro are going to be contributing a great deal towards that. OP's kind of LAN experience has really come into the forefront for him this year. I've been really impressed watching him flourish at LCQ. And for Yoshi as well, you got to remember, he's been present at the World Finals, but has never been on the stage. He's always been on the bench. So that man today, I really want to see come into his own.
Well, it's his time to shine here on the big stage, getting started in our very first set momentarily. And it's going to be exciting to see as well how things start to adapt as well with Hypercharge now being a consideration. That was something that we did not see at LCQ. It's something that we have yet to really see in a large capacity from Crazy Raccoon. And this is very more favorable to a more aggressive meta. So
भाई
will that
क्रेजी
really
रकून
adapt
जीतेगी
with
मुझे
SK's
लग
gameplay
रहा है
style?
क्योंकि दे आर क्रेजी
As well, and when it comes to Brawl Ball, I mean, we all
क्योंकि
know
उसमें
that
से एक बंदा ऐसा जो टेम्पो लेके आता है भाई टेम्पो लेके लड़ने आता है भाई
like Crazy Raccoon, who are just very, very aggressive by nature.
और एक तो अपने बाल ऐसे रखा है झाड़ू जैसे कि अगर कुछ साफ होना हो गेम साफ कर देता है भाई उस बालों से
Towards those final moments, it encourages that push. But certainly for many, I've been hearing on the pro side of things that the reason why we've seen a slight drop-off and decay on the East Asia side is coming down to draft. So that's where my attention is going to be here today with Crazy Raccoon, and already I can see that some of the note work is already out, so that's a good sign.
Well, I mean, you talk about this draft, right? And historically, especially from what we've seen earlier on in the year, yes, it has been the central pain point for the East Asian region and the Japanese players in general. Now, this is kind of interesting, though. In a recent interview, Rely, the coach for Reply Totem, did say that they don't expect teams to outdraft them anymore, which is a huge statement, especially knowing that they're going up against some of the greatest drafting minds, especially region-wise. We'll start off with a Sandy pick here from Crazy Raccoon. I think a fairly strong way to start off a draft on Field Goal.
Yeah, certainly we've seen a great deal of Sandy play this weekend, and Sweet Dreams Stun, it just opens up opportunity and objective goals scored. Spike is a very safe starting hand for me, but a Hypercharge brawler that does bring a great deal amount of versatility a good tank counter as well, and area control, area denial with that super exacerbated by the hypercharge itself. And Rosa coming in as well. There's still those big tank counters open though. Shelly is open here for Crazy Raccoon.
Okay, 2 purples on the side of SK Gaming. We got to see some hypercharge ability come out from Crazy Raccoon. Lest they don't think it's really that ticket to success. They need to also be considering this last pick that's available at SK Gaming. But they have already gone one of the big, like, tanky brawlers that you usually see as a last pick. So I think this is a fairly inventive draft from SK Gaming. Clearly, they've got some things stewing up over here with what appears to be really gutsy with Rosa, but also a little overly safe with the spike.
Finally, someone's bringing in Max.
Max.
A really underrated brawler, and one that Crazy Raccoon know how to play best, in my opinion. This was the champion brawler which really catapulted the team onto the scene, and back in the days prior to draft, but the aggressiveness of which it brings, I think, is very understated. And a great pairing as well with the Sandy. But they've got to have that tank counter pick to add to and to combine with this, and I think it's got to be a Shelly. I mean, SK have knocked out a lot of the opposition, the Cordelius, the Lou. They would have been a fantastic thing to have. Maisie, though.
Maisie.
That is my second favorite thing to have. I've been a bit more sold in the World Finals when it comes to that brawler, and when it comes to Rosa, it's very good at keeping her at bay.
Look, no complaints here with the Maisie, especially when you have these walls to consider. If you look at just the geography of this map, you're able to hit that super through walls, and you're able to recharge it very quickly just charging the super by using the super. If you get some good contact. Stu here as well to break open some of those walls, create some goal-scoring opportunities, and might be able to keep up with some of these enemies on Crazy Raccoon. The struggle, I think, is going to be hitting those shots once Max has that speed going. I also want to talk about, like, what is the mid here for Crazy Raccoon? It could be a Max. It's going to be hard to shoot those shots around in the bushes, so it'll be a difficult lane victory to win. Maisie also makes sense as a mid brawler, so there's a bit of versatility in what the lane matchups are for Crazy Raccoon. For SK, it's less so. I think the spike mid is really the way to go.
Let's see as we head on in to the opening of Group D. It's a fierce group, no doubt about it. Speed zone already for SK, and they're pushing themselves immediately forwards. IKS going to take the right-hand side, pass through to OPE. A few dashes around from Yoshi. Both sides trying to find their first sign of some super, some utility to hand over. OP's already quite low, though. 10 sides getting a good amount of... Oh, my word. Dash away just in the nick of time. Shitamba goes
nice
in.
one.
3 versus 2 now.
Oh, बच गया भाई. अगर सुपर यूज नहीं करता तो मारा था ये.
In fact, passes that ball all the way to the goal so that iChaos can take it. Ope also trying to fend off this charge. A super in from the Sandy. Nishitapo now provides some backup for Tensai coming around the left flank. It's a team wipe around the goal line. Moya's got to slot this in. Ope's trying to...
Oh, भाई.
Tensai walks it in.
भाई गैजेट का क्या यूज किया भाई, मजा आ गया.
A close call, but one that is still a goal. SK pushing forwards, popping the super there on the side of OP, but the push of the speed from Tensai and the push back there from Shitampo. A lovely use of gadget, a good solid defense. 3 versus 2 now, and SK have got no choice but to come back.
She's just a sole defender here at mid. Needs someone to come on this left lane. In fact, no
भाई
one comes, so they're all running it down.
जो लोग ये लगाते हैं ना स्टू का ये खंबा लगाते हैं स्पीड वाला, भाई कोई मतलब का नहीं है भाई.
It's just Tensai and Moya on the defensive. A little bit of root sands action enables Moya to push forward and push forward this metaphorical line of scrimmage. A good kill onto Yoshi as well. As SK are full on the defensive, Ope on dangerously low health tries to rotate over towards that left side, but there doesn't seem to be a good matchup for the guy.
I was just about to praise Mo, but then that gadget, that really premature gadget that was short.
वॉल तोड़ने वाला ही मुझे सही लगता है भाई गैजेट तो.
Early signs of nerves, but the speed from Tensai brings him back into life as OP's making a run for it. The hypercharge pop, one down, Moya's gonna fall. Tensai's remaining, but OP's being a bit struggling to make the play and make the move, and it's taken down now as the defense will stand for Crazy Raccoon.
He was a one-man army over there on the right lane. Yoshi wasn't able to push in. Very timid there around the super from Moya, which is now renewed on the side of SK, but way too aggressive. They won't be able to get any of the benefit of that invisibility or the diminishing of HP thanks to the Rude Sand star power. Shtitampo and Tensai fully on the defensive. Only 15 seconds remain, and SK Gaming have to generate a goal.
It's now or never here in this game for SK Gaming. 10 seconds here. IKS going to try to make the champion play, but Moya's still going to stand there on the defensive lines. Yoshi coming now with the speed, with the ball pushed to the left, and it will stand as Crazy Raccoon take the first game.
Jim.
Very solid stuff here for Crazy Raccoon. SK kind of quiet on their front. We saw a lot of supers going over that Sandy. I think that was the most important thing here for Crazy Raccoon. Once that Sandy super is down, there's just no pushing into it. We did see some times where it was actually placed a little bit too aggressively, which enabled SK to move past it. But in perfect moments, we saw things like Ope ready to make a goal, but there was no support from Yoshi. He did not want to push into that super.
Well, much the same from SK, that early speed zone here, just to keep then Crazy Raccoon on the back lines. Moya's going to fall, which is 10 sides Tampo. Will pass over though to Crazy Raccoon to decide where they want to have this. One speed zone here for Yoshi would be nice to have, but still, Crazy Raccoon looking quite confident in this defensive moment.
सोचो अगर इसके बाद वो गैजेट होता, अभी ये दीवार तोड़ दिया होता, यहाँ से गोल मार दिए होते.
Tensai also is working hard for that super that will enable them to push out of here. Great placement there from iChaos. That is the win condition, but they need to convert on it. Moya and Shitetampo still holding their own, but the ball slips through the left side, and it's a goal to start for SK Gaming.
That was great. Fantastic from SK. They've got to play this slow and patient into those brawlers like Macy. They've got those stuns, that knockback potential. And it was beautiful. Let's see, though, whether they can hold up their defenses. Crazy Raccoon now are chasing the goal. The speed coming in from Tensai. Shitabe from the right-hand side. Has got super, and you can just see how good it is. Hypercharge, and he almost got the double, but goes down, and SK defend pretty well.
All-out onslaught now here for SK Gaming as they get not just one, but 2 kills. Moya still trying to defend around that left side. And everyone's looking alive and healthy on the side of SK, but they really need a Rosa super in order to do anything. iChaos would also prefer to have his super to combine it with his hypercharge. There it is. It's instantly popped. Moya's just on the edge of this. Ope's going to try and force this through. Tensai just on a fraction of health left. Moya trying to rotate over, but it's an open goal. And SK Gaming close out this game.
When you look back to how SK started, that was a learning. That was a learning for me. And they look like the cold exterior team. The ice in the veins was on much more their side of things. Crazy Raccoon couldn't keep up.
ISCR में आ गए, but जीटा वाली आदत नहीं गई. ट्रेनिंग भाई, ट्रेनिंग. यही ट्रेनिंग करते आ रहे हैं तो दिमाग में वही फिट हो जाता है ना.
It's precisely what you're saying. It's the patience, really. And I think especially from Ope, he's going into the Sandy matchup knowing that if he feeds that Sandy super, then it's going to be devastating for the rest of his team. He's still going to be pushing in, though. Looks like a goal-scoring opportunity. Yoshi's on low health. Same for Ope. The stun as well. And it results in a kill for Crazy Raccoon. SK Gaming now have to fall back, but they want to maintain that mid-control. The ball is sort of out of their possession. Yoshi's thinking about picking it up and putting it in a more optimal place. Moya now around the right side throws down that super. It's an opportunity for Tensai to push in, but he's being quite timid as well. SK Gaming, they're alive and healthy. Ope lurking on the right flank, but still no big moves just yet.
Ball trying to be pushed forwards by SK Gaming on the right-hand side now. OP has got a super, as has Yoshi, and Yoshi now coming on the aggressive, fighting Tensai just a little bit here. Moya as well. Tampo has super now. OP is going to think twice. I think that's wise under the circumstances. 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, 4 coming in as OP is instantly eradicated. Now SK have got to push this ball around here and try to get it out, buy some time, get those respawns back on the back lines, but Tampo's not done yet.
Man, Yoshi was really overextended there. iChaos is going to have to pay the price too. Ope, he's a one-man army over here on the left side. Tensei's on dangerously low health, but Ope has no choice but to push in. Crazy Raccoon, they reign control over this mid despite the best efforts of SK. And now, with the Sandy super in, this is going to be difficult for SK Gaming to push out of, at least for now. Tensai moves over to the right side. He's still without a super. It would be magnificent if he can get that onto Moya, who manages to pick up the kill onto iChaos. Shitapo in with a gadget and super combo. Still no goal just yet. Moya has the combo. Here it comes. No, not right through. Ope missed timing on that gadget, and iChaos can still defend.
That was so punishing there for Moya. You've got to allow those moments. That was a goal for me. For the ball to the left-hand side. Tensai trying to get that additional speed in, that additional maneuverability. Stun from Moya to deflate the hypercharge. The ball still firmly in the corner. 20 seconds on the clock. We could be going to overtime, which may not serve SK as finally. Nice connection though from iChaos on the left-hand side. I know, Tampo now struggling.
The hypercharge popped, now expiring. iChaos, wow, completely beamed down by Tensai. Now trying to speed through some of this area. Ope, unrelenting, going for Moya. He won't convert on that kill, though. And it's everyone from Crazy Raccoon now going to the side of SK Gaming. All of these obstacles fall as SK are woefully without any cover for Ope. Now approaching up the left lane, trying to protect this ball. Might opt to push it forward. No, over to the right side. Yoshi's going to keep this safe in the back right corner. They're trying to play keep away from Crazy Raccoon, but they keep on advancing. Ope will be the first to fall, it looks like, if we see that final shot. Shetapo, a pass over to the left. It's an open goal and a set for Crazy Raccoon.
ER वाले जीत गए.
Pulls an opening hand for Crazy Raccoon there. They looked a little bit sheepish for me, which is unlike them.
स्क्रीन पे इतना फालतू का ये चीयर एनिमेशन डालते हुए हैं, इससे हैंग अलग करता है. बात तो सही है, जीतेगा एक टीम तो जरूर जीतेगा. बात तो सही है.
For SK, I liked the way that they approached this. I think even despite the loss, going in just a little bit, unsure of themselves maybe at times, but also playing it patiently, which is what gave them the goals. But in overtime, that's not going to really necessarily work with the comp that they've got. They had to get a goal earlier than overtime.
That's really the deal, and you saw Ope playing super aggressively, trying his best, but it was that Sandy first pack that really came back to bite him. Just constant supers, especially if we look back to game number 1 where Moya was getting these supers back to back, and Ope being the main contributor. He has the most health to work with here, and we'll get to see what the stats exactly were for Sandy in just a moment here. Wow, fantastic reactions for SK. I mean, they did make some good moves here. This is the kind of thing that we came in here wanting to see from SK.
Yeah, that for me could have been a set that could have gone either way. It really could have been SK's set. It could have easily gone down that path, but just that singular goal really to separate it through. Good round there for Shtampo. Tensai and Moya as well, both on 7. Yoshi had the best round on the side of SK. OP just the form, the 82 DPS, very much in that lower side of things.
Yeah, I mean, this is the result of being a tanky brawler. Moya.
सात किल किया. उसके बाद में टेम्पो लेके आने वाला भाई. अरे टेम्पो.
Counters to tanks that farm up their super so easily off of a beefy target that keeps on pushing in.
Dueling Beatles, Lou's open. I was gonna say he's picked before I could even have the words escape my mouth. Why are people leaving this brawler open? It's the best hypercharge in the game, and it's immediately picked up.
ये कितने बजे तक चलेगा? उतने बजे तक ही चलेगा जितना तक चलता है भाई. 9, 9:30.
Had to be intentional. I mean, at this level of play, it has to be.
अगर ये लोग जल्दी खत्म कर दे तो बात अलग है.
Cordelius on the side of SK Gaming in terms of their bans, there is such a thing as there being bigger fish to fry. Maybe we need more than 3 bans in order to get hypercharged Lu out of the equation, but we also saw situations where Lu was countered just yesterday, even though it was selected as the last pick. When it comes to Hot Zone though, this is a win condition without a doubt.
Pam available here for me. That's a beautiful brawler to pick up. I think SK have got to go with the opening of the map approach here. Otherwise, I mean, the Gale's certainly going to have... this is what makes me worried. The Gale's going to want the walls to be there to get those additional stuns, but... I know that Kenny is sold, but I'm not necessarily as much. I asked Kenny what the win rates were for Gale. 50-50 so far in this competition. Let's see, though, if Crazy Raccoon do want to double down on this Lu pick. You're gonna have some range though for all those lane sides. Rosa, though, the tankier approach, gonna come in for them. Building the bushes into the mid as well. And there's that long range approach to have as a one that I expected to see a bit more of actually in the World Finals.
We got to see something from SK to break open these bushes. We know that this is going to be the strategy from Crazy Raccoon, and it does force SK's hand just a little bit. There are probably other things that they want to do here, something else for the Lu. I think that Stu will be one of those options that can be fairly decent for dealing with Lu, because the number one thing with Lu is that his shot can be difficult to hit, and I think Stu is fairly good at dodging those out. It is LAN, after all. The zero ping Stu can come into play. There's the Sprout, and this is not going to be great for DPS, but it's going to be phenomenal for denying the super to Lu.
I was about to say it. I froze. You saw it already. I was thinking, there's no wall break on the side of Crazy Raccoon. And obviously for SK, they were not going to be going with that opening approach because they wanted the Gale to have the stun. It was kind of calling out. And iChaos on that Sprout, in my opinion, the best player in the world to have it. If SK get this right, it could be theirs. They've convinced me now with that third and final pick. But Rosa has got a wealth of HP. The amount of shots they're going to have to land onto her, it's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle. Maybe not. Maybe they'll convince me more so, but for me, the Lu is a bit of a win condition brawler right now in terms of the meta.
Well, win condition already present. Here comes the very first super from Stetampo and a trade as well. With the win condition of SK Gaming, they need to get this hedge up all the time. We'll see a kill onto Tensai, which is a good start, but still, SK Gaming have no presence on this zone. They don't have a whole lot of HP to work with. Yoshi is really the healthiest one on their team. Stetampo already has a hypercharge. We're only a few seconds in the match.
Yeah, SK just haven't been on the zone. I mean, it's allowing Crazy Raccoon to walk all over this. Walls are all good, but at the same time, Crazy Raccoon are working their way around them. OP, low HP now, and down to just 300. Hypercharge goes in for Stetampo. Gonna get maybe a double stun here, not gonna fight either one. I'm very surprised, but the positioning from SK was good, but still, almost 50% on the zone to the 5 of SK. Where are they?
Greed overwhelming there with the hypercharged super, but still it stuffs SK Gaming back into their own spawn. Tensai is gonna get a piece of the pie too, goes for a bit of damage on Yoshi. He knows he wasn't gonna get it facing into that super, and as a result, actually, Moy and Stetampo are very backed up. SK Gaming will get their first chance at advancing on this point, but iChaos cannot afford to get hit here. Stetampo, there it is, just one shot, and he's already got another super up.
Why
What a lovely rattle hive there, really was. Bang on point there from Moya. Will the second be as well? It is. OPE just trying to aggress his left-hand side. There's still the slow, the hive there from Moya, but not going to find something for it. SK have got so much time to make up for 83% for Crazy Raccoon. They just need that 17 as Tensai goes in. Hypercharge there, working his way forwards, having that additional buff. It's going to be all over unless SK really now knuckle down and secure every single opening.
It's certainly possible, but iChaos is out of gadgets. Maybe it's looking a little bit less possible. Stetampo needs a super desperately. Tensai's also slowed down. Yoshi's going to keep pushing him back. If Stetampo gets this complete denial to the hypercharge, but he can still come up mid. Needs a shot somewhere. OP completely jukes him out. Stetampo getting shut down. Just one more shot to eliminate him. And SK Gaming are really coming back.
Crazy Raccoon have got to push as a team now. Tensai just trying to keep himself alive in the mid, and it will be done. The game will go the way of Crazy Raccoon. SK was slow at that matchup. They were able to build a great amount of pressure towards the end, but we need to see that more at the beginning.
Really, the most difficult thing for them here was a hypercharged Lu. Right off the beginning of that game, it fell flat on its face. They gave a super to the Lu immediately. He had that super down. I mean, Lu was already an insta-pick here, or at least a highly favored pick here, before the hypercharge. Letting that one slip through the ban seemed to be a big mistake. SK Gaming have to play their picks perfectly, and so far we just have not seen that from iChaos, getting the hedges up in the right position.
Nice plays there from OP. Did a really good job there, landing that gadget just to tank a shot and then just dancing around the situation. This is better from SK. They've got some confidence despite that game loss. So iChaos moves forward now. Placing this wall going to be crucial to keep themselves. Oh, there it is. Forcing Tensai to the left. A much better start this time round.
SK Gaming just have to work this angle. They have iChaos using the gadgets, using the super, even generating another wall. It doesn't fully shut out Tensai, but this right lane is fairly locked down. Yoshi just needs to position himself over here. The Rattled Hive is out. Stetampo's looking for the super. There it is. And this entire point is blocked off. Yoshi frozen in his tracks. Ope with the body block and a tank. And Stetampo is shut down on the right. iChaos no frozen. Tensai trying to advance on him, taking a lot of damage in the process. And this is exactly what SK Gaming wanted in game one.
These are some of the best Brawl walls I've seen in the game. iChaos really just showing how good he can be with the double stun from Stetampo. Forces things back. Tensai's got his as well. It's 86% though to SK. That early game really has put money in the bank.
It would have to be the comeback of a century if Crazy Raccoon want to take this one back. There's so much util on the side of SK Gaming. They even managed to fend off Tensai using the hypercharge and the super combo. Just need to win the 3v2. Stetampo in with another super. No gadgets remaining. Surely he's close to that hypercharge though. Ope's trying to keep things off the point. He doesn't have that much damage in versus Tensai, but he's gradually chipping him down. Another super available to Tensai, an attempted push in, but it might just be a bait of that super. Still, no footsteps on the point from SK Gaming. They just need 13% here, and Crazy Raccoon have come all the way back from just 13%, now climbing to 70.
Lovely wrestle times. Really, they are landing on the mark from Moya onto IKS, who is the best person for it, but it is just Tensai here holding his own. Moya from the right hand side, he gets the pick up onto Yoshi. A 1v1 in the mid. It's back to OP, but he will fall. Crazy Raccoon are bringing it back. They've got level. There's the hypercharge from Sunshine Tempo. Oh my word, and it is done.
जी आई क्रेजी वाला तो पागल हो गया पागल ये तो पागल हो गया
An absolute rug pull here.
भाई सब लोग लिए क्वेश्चन है विल फैमिली या दो स्किन बेल नहीं है पॉपस्टार जेनेट जिसकी नहीं है उसकी ले लो भाई एविल पेम तो ऐसा हो गया कि सस्ती होने की वजह से हर किसी के पास अब वही है वही मैं बोलने वाला था 99 जेम्स ठीक है मिल रही है लेकिन यहाँ पर तो हर किसी के पास वो वाली स्किन है मतलब हर कोई जो पैम यूज कर रहा है वो उसके पास वही स्किन है
is one of those cases where I'm tempted to say they outdrafted themselves.
अब वो बहुत ही नॉर्मल स्किन हो गई
And now it's very evident that
इफ यू
that
आस्क
was a
मी
mistake.
इविल
In the
पैम इज
moment,
अ
though,
नॉर्मल
I think SK Gaming got
स्किन
exactly the
नॉर्मल
sort
से
of
भी
draft that
नॉर्मल
they
स्किन है
wanted.
भाई
They
वो
were very okay with
हर
having
किसी के
this sort
पास
of
है
sprout strategy, combine it with the Gale. It was inventive. It worked for a while. Then the hypercharged loot started to come back. We saw Crazy Raccoon claw their way back from what seemed like an unattainable victory.
And that was all Moya, by the way. When IKS was struggling to, well, he's just going to town with the walls. Moya coming in with the rattled hive there, just really focusing his time onto IKS to force him out of the game and force him back to the size of their spawn.
zero skins
He couldn't be present for those walls, and that is when Crazy Raccoon got the momentum forwards.
भाई फिर तो तुम्हारी मर्जी है भाई अगर मैं तो भाई तुम लोग बोल रहे थे मेरे को लेने के लिए भाई मेरे को तो बिल्कुल ही मन ही नहीं कर रहा है इविल पैम लेने का द रीजन इज it became so much normal now. Previously it was for 300 gems, 400 gems, but now it's only 99 gems. So everyone can afford it. It is not an exclusive or legendary skin now. It's not even a normal skin because everyone is having this
on the
skin.
field does indicate some good mechanics. It indicates where there could be improvement in draft. You have to wonder where this comes in the mental though, and I think really the damage has been done. It's up to SK to recover from 2 set losses in a row. And a very
लेकिन वर्थ इट तो पैम की ही रहेगी जो जेनेट और नैनी की तो ब्लिंग से भी ले सकते हैं और स्टार ड्रॉप से भी मिल सकती
as pop-offs for IKEOS in particular. Certainly the 8-bit mid I quite like here as the gem carry, but Rosa's got to be up there with those bans. Cordelia's potentially as well. Sandy, I feel Macy's a worthy ban in my opinion now on this map.
ले लो तो भाई पैम ले लो क्या ही है Here comes the Pam, bam, bam, bam.
But first pick going the way here of Crazy Raccoon. Will they go with the aggressive lane side? Will they go with that mid controller, the gem carry? And it is going to be a first pick. Macy. I've really warmed to her on Hard Rock Mine this weekend.
Maisie is just one of those brawlers. She's a fairly good brawler. She fits a lot of different scenarios, but more importantly, she counters those tanks, which could be arriving up any lane here. SK Gaming have that last pick, so that makes it optimal for them to pick something like that. Tanks can just be some of the best counter brawlers available in this game. But they have 2-3. What do they go with? Maisie isn't really locking SK into any sort of strategy here, but they need to be thinking about what their mid is within these next couple of picks. You don't want to waste your last pick on a mid.
It is going to be that Rico for SK Gaming. I love it. I really do. But at this stage in the draft, it's
Rico.
I mean, the kryptonite for that particular brawler is breaking open the map. Hence the the ban of the roughs there as well. And if Crazy Raccoon wants to then go with that approach to follow up, it might not be as effective. Buster, not a bad shout. We've seen some great promise with that brawler, really kind of catapulting its way into the meta. I really quite like it. I know it's a bit of a talking point here on the casting desk as to how effective it can be, but I really do like it, especially on a mode like Gem Grab.
I think this is also a theft of Buster from Crazy Raccoon, who in the scrims have been running this brawler a lot. And Crazy Raccoon do seem to prefer to run a lot of the same brawlers repeatedly, but as they've gotten better at the draft, they've had to diversify their sort of brawler repertoire, if you want to call it that. So coming into this, they have to find something that can effectively go up against the Buster. They're going to be going with Max, but what synergy do they find for that Max? Could it be the Sandy coming in? Really a big struggle for them is also going to be finding something to deal with the Rico, who can shut down a lane entirely. But if they decide not to play the Rico lane at all, if they get a kind of draft and they get a kind of gameplay locked down where they don't even need to engage with the lane Rico, then they can ignore him relatively.
SK will have a response for a tankier option if Crazy Raccoon wants to go for it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. When has max sounding never, when has it ever been a bad thing? It's always had beautiful synergy. I was kind of wondering whether they might have gone with a hard counter stat Rico. I hope they're prepared for it because SK certainly are the team to play it best in my opinion on this map. It can be devastating. Let's see what they want to add to this. It's not really for me a gem carrier, so it's got to be that. 8-bit for me, normally Yoshi to be the one to play it. I think that's the way to go, but can be troublesome into the max. So I don't mind it. There he is. I mean, I love this comp from SK. It's going to be a credit and a testament to Crazy Raccoon to how they go around and deal with this, but this is a good starting hand now for SK to get themselves back in the game. They are 2 sets down. It's got to be one that goes their way as far as they're concerned.
I can see SK Gaming really turtling up here, which I think could be a big problem. You got to be playing aggressively here. That is just how the game works at the moment. There's no doubt that Crazy Raccoon are going to be playing this way. They're going to put that max up in mid, or maybe they'll run it on the lane. They didn't seem to be too unkind to running the max on the lane previously, but that's not really the ideal place to put it. Maisie, I think, has a lot of potential to switch things up. We'll have to see how it all works out. We see the Rico already armed and ready at mid, sort of doubling up with Yoshi. He needs to get that first super. Chaos on the right lane, absolute deletion there from Shtitampo. And Chaos attempts to fend off Moya. Bit of a pinch here onto Moya. But Tensai has already walked all over this mid, claiming his first super and 4 gems.
Chaos trying to sneak, but Tensai there with the pickup. Nice patience displayed from CR in his early moments, and the speed now coming in. Continued aggression onto Yoshi, just trying to get a sign of a gadget to whittle those down. So crucial as the 8-bit has that escape mechanism there with the cheat cartridge. Shtitampo coming in with a slow onto OPE, but it's 7 gems.
भाई 7 gem ले लिया उसने.
SK might be playing the slow game here, trying to get that late game
8 हो गए.
but is that wise?
OP's still trying to lurk on the backlines. He actually does manage to get 1 kill, but Tensai cleans up with 8 gems to his name. The first gem now going to Yoshi. The ideal brawler to have the gems on, but Tensai pops his speed. Chaos now trying to defend this right side. Crazy Raccoon have done a good job of kind of not playing into the Rico so far. Anytime they try and rush up this lane, Chaos is there to shut them down. Shtitampo's going to make a big move. A complete solo play, which was shut down utterly by Ope.
Well, now SK is starting to build some steam here. Phase shift away from Shtitampo, or from Tensai to ensure the gems are safe. But Yoshi's just going to keep a hold on this mid. The plugged-in star power going to have that additional speed for him. As OP shows the signs of that gadget, he's actually going to fall still into the hands of Shtitampo, as Shtitampo comes out on top.
Chaos beaming a super. Not going to make any contact on a Tensai, at least not significantly. A 7th gem going the way of SK, and a super down from Moya, trying to afford some room for them. Shtitampo also dangerously overextended on the left side. Yoshi going to try and fend him off. It looks like if he can discover his position, take down into Ope looks scary. A countdown for Crazy Raccoon as they look to run this one back with 10 gems on top of Tensai, and Chaos still trying to fight this right lane, but no one's going to bite. They're just going to stay on the other side.
Tensai is so aware to Chaos. He's actually going to be running into the spawn. This is dangerous territory, but with 3 seconds remaining, the gems are safe and sound, and Crazy Raccoon move on to match.
2 epic मिले आज, 2 pins. क्या बात है, क्या बात. Tensai max god है. अकेले पूरी टीम झेली है भाई उसने.
Anytime Crazy Raccoon decided, yeah, so the objective is at mid, and we're not going to play that lane where you win 100% of the matchups.
SK Gaming तो चटनी बन रही भाई.
But Moya still needs to occupy this side of the map. We'll see Chaos make the lane switch up onto the left side this time, which is not ideal for moving into the enemy spawn, but it could be where Crazy Raccoon decide to lurk this time. It's exactly what they expected. Shtitampo eliminated firstly by Chaos, and Yoshi gets the first
lane change कर ली. That is a good strategy.
Just all 3 pushing the mid, and it's working. It's much better for them. 5 gems this time round, and where are Crazy Raccoon? Really struggling to find the space to move. And like Chaos there on the left-hand side, just that final now. Gadget from OPE forcing in there Moya. Oh, there's a lovely, beautiful angle from Chaos. It's 6 gems. Crazy Raccoon have got to start to adapt as SK did.
Max लेकर aggressive खेल रहा और वो भी gems लेकर carry कर रहा है.
particularly like to see the adaptation there from iChaos. We see a bit of action on the other side. SK Gaming have their spawn threatened by Shtetamo. This could be the biggest pinch that we see. Yoshi's completely turtle up into this back left, and it's sort of what we expected. A little speed on Moya. Panicked gadget there from Yoshi. He has plenty to spare, but still gave up a lot of room. Here comes a super combined with a hypercharge from Shtetamo. No major damage contribution here. Everyone's safe and sound on the side of SK Gaming, but they're not playing that objective. Now tied up 6 gems apiece.
It's the awareness of Crazy Raccoon that is just so scary to me. They're always able to find SK when they're lurking and try to foresee it coming. Gems, though, could be in a dangerous spot here. OP there, they're just shielding things out. Tenzo will just keep his health alive in the mix. A closer game. We are all tied up now. Speed comes in for Crazy Raccoon.
It looks good for
अबे कौन कंट्रोल करता है स्क्रीन को भाई? सही से स्क्रीन दिखा दे भाई. अरे एक उठा, जम उठा हो गया. विन 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 विन. इजी पीजी.
10 gems and 15-second countdown to victory. SK Gaming, they don't have the speed, they don't have the mobility. They're gonna give it their all, but it's 2 people on the right side. Moya running all the way to the back lines. Shtetamo keeping everything alive and healthy with the seconds ticking down. Crazy Raccoon take the win over SK Gaming.
That was very convincing. It's gonna be said. East Asia lay down the gauntlet once again.
10 side carry. अरे भाई full carry भाई साहब.
Bring again all those lovely brawlers back into full force. The ones that have been forgotten by many teams here at the World Finals. And just showing us still how much bang they've got for their buck.
तोड़ डाला, फोड़ डाला.
Zero shutout here from Crazy Raccoon.
चड्डी का पानी निचोड़ डाला. बहुत बढ़िया खेला. भाई मेरा सारा प्रेडिक्शन गलत हो गया. कोई बात नहीं, कल आइएगा और 3000 पॉइंट्स करके जाइएगा. अभी तो वोट कर दीजिए. सबसे पहले तो ये रैली कहाँ से आ गया भाई? चलो साइड टेम्पो को दे देते हैं इसी बात पे. एक तो गलत गलत नाम लिखते हैं लोग, इसलिए दूसरे को वोट मिलता है.
Because so far for me, I've got to say, Crazy Raccoon are just looking really, really confident. As we've always seen them on the world stage.
लेकिन ये भालू वाला पिन नहीं मिला. 2-3 घंटे लग जाते हैं कई बार.
Just all the glitz and glamour and pressure that comes with the World Finals, it just doesn't seem to affect them in any way whatsoever.
Well, I mean, this is just Saturday for them. This is an ordinary day in the
भाई शुद्ध नशे करते हैं लोग.
They've been up here.
पिछले उसमें भी बॉबी का नाम नहीं था, इसलिए लोगों ने सांस को वोट किया. नहीं तो बॉबी ही जीतता. बॉबी का नाम ही नहीं है, ओजी का नाम डाल रखा है. लोग क्यों ओजी को वोट करें भाई? क्यों ओजी को वोट करें? बॉबी लिखा है, बॉबी के नाम से खेलता है तो बॉबी को देना भाई. बॉबी डाल पोल में. ये कहां से नल्लागिरी आ गई? शुद्ध नशे करते हैं भाई लोग, शुद्ध नशे. इतना शुद्ध नशे तो किसी और को मिल भी नहीं पा रहा है. करोड़ रुपए खर्च करके फ्री में करते हैं भंड नशे.
We had massive hopes for East Asia in the LCQ, and Tensai coming in tweeted out saying that he was looking to do his region proud, and you know he is doing just that so far. Fair play to him. What a great round for Moya. 6
बॉबी की जगह कोच का नाम लिख दिए. पहले वो भंड नशे किए, ठीक है. उसके बाद कास्टर्स बोल रहे हैं अरे बॉबी को काहे नहीं दिए भाई. अच्छा बॉबी को देंगे कहाँ से? नल्ले लोग हो तुम, अंधे हो क्या? क्या काहे के कास्टर्स हो तुम लोग? तुम्हें खुद को पता नहीं है जो पीछे हो क्या रहा है? वहाँ वोटिंग में उसका नाम ही नहीं है तो वोट कहाँ से आएगा उसको?
Look, I think solid draft here from SK and really good mechanics. You see iChaos getting 11 kills here, but that's not the name of the game. They just got out mechanicked. And this is sort of the returning storyline here for Crazy Raccoon, is they repeatedly get the mechanics diff. We see it repeatedly. Last year, they ran the same comp multiple times throughout the tournament. They just could not be seen to deviate from the Carl and things. Maybe we'll see Carl make a resurgence later on, but for now, it's the Max and Sandy that needs to be shut down by any of their opponents.
I felt like in terms of the draft, I just preferred what Crazy Raccoon were doing. I mean, leaving open the loo as well in hot zone, I don't think you can afford to do that. I think as well, some of the predictability of the SK drafting is starting to shine through for me. I can kind of tell what I'm expecting to see, and more often than not, it shows its face. And I think for many, I think that is proving to be a problem now as people remember just how effective that brawler can be. Got to prepare yourselves for it as we check out our MVP from that series. And I mean, for me, it could be Moya, it could be Shtetamo, it could be either one of them, and it is going to be Shtetamo. A fantastic performance from him so far today, and I guarantee that Crazy Raccoon, they're not done yet.
Shetapa, I mean, it had to be. He's the all-time GOAT, and we'll get to see more of them in the upcoming match, which I'm very, very excited for. But still, what a performance here from Crazy Raccoon, leaving some to be desired from SK Gaming. We got things teed up for the remaining matches in this group.
It's such an exciting group. This really is, I mean, just the caliber, the quality of all the games we've witnessed so far today have just been exactly what you come to expect from a Brawl Stars World Finals. And I think the group stages as well really do draw out the weak links in this process. The format, I just love it every step of the way. The Crazy Raccoon, again, the perfect start so far, but they've got to keep it up.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough thing, but they have the momentum on their side. They have the mechanics, they have the drafts, they have the victories, they have the numbers to show for it as well. So they've got a great start, leaving SK once again with some stuff to be desired. But Crazy Raccoon, now they have the wind in their sails going into yet another match right off the back of this one.
Again, this next matchup, it's a scary one for Esports all year long. Have really been playing, in my opinion, at the top of their game. And I feel Crazy Raccoon have got to read that draft. Drage is a bit of a mastermind when it comes to it. He's got a lot of tricks in the book, and I think this is the time that he's going to bring him out.
We've seen them do fairly well lately as well, so that's leaving some really high expectations for this region. We'll get an update as well on how this group is looking following the victory of Crazy Raccoon
announced 3-0 नहीं था.
of SK. Now we've seen it.
3-0 ही तो था.
Crazy Raccoon, SK Gaming 0-1 with foot.
Zeta से नाम 3-0 था भाई.
Their claim.
This is going to put foot to the test, in my opinion, and I feel that they are ready for it. You know, they've been displaying some really interesting ideas, keeping us guessing along the way, most importantly, which in the World Finals, I feel can be that real trick in the book to bring out, reserving some of your ideas, trying to put things together in scrims and experiment there and then bring in all those learnings to the world stage.
ये लोग सब कर लिए लेकिन एक चीज सही नहीं कर रहे नल्ले लोग. भाई खड़े होकर कौन खेलता भाई? मतलब किसी को वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स खेलना तो उसके लिए उसको अलग से प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी. भाई खड़े होकर अच्छे से एम करना आना चाहिए मुझे. बैठ के तो मैं अच्छे से खेल लेता हूँ, खड़े होकर जाके वहां पे एम करना है. मतलब क्या नल्लागिरी चलती है भाई. एक कुर्सी लगाने में क्या जाता है? तुमको बजट नहीं है क्या तुम्हारे पास कुर्सी लगाने का? रेंट पे ले लो भाई, कुर्सियां मिल जाती हैं.
Well, I mean, this is also the region that they're facing against is the one that sent Drage packing last year. So there's a little bit of revenge here, but also it's a storyline that's been brewing all the way since the World Finals last year. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch play out on the big stage.
When it comes down to it, predictions-wise, are you still where you stood earlier today? You want to switch things up, change things around? I was regretting mine when it came to that Zeta matchup, so I just got to put the question, you know?
I mean, okay, look, predictions are predictions, okay? I'm still ahead of you, by the way. I just wanna throw that out there for the audience.
Hey, I didn't claim to be the predictions master. I'm doing pretty well. Talk to that guy backstage.
बिक जाएंगे कुर्सी खरीदने में. रेंट पे लेने को बोल लिया हूँ भाई. मान लो 100 रुपए की एक कुर्सी भी आती होगी रेंट पे. ठीक है, गिनती के तुम्हें 7 या 8 लेनी है. 4,000 चलो 10 ले लो. कितने हुआ? 1,000 रुपया खत्म. एक जो पीछे लाइट एक्स्ट्रा जल रही है उसको बंद कर देना, बिजली का बिल कम आएगा. उतने में भाई सब लोग बैठ के खेल लेंगे आराम से भाई. सब मस्त मस्त शॉट मारेंगे.
Well, with that all said and done and everything teed up, we're going to go to a short break as we get ready for our second match in this group.
8-bit, yeah.
What do you think it is?
I think it's 8-bit.
Oh, yeah, it is 8-bit. But it might be for a specific skin. The only one I would know is Saloon.
I'm never guessing the skins.
Okay,
8-bit.
8-bit losing me. Okay.
8-bit, I think.
Yeah.
Sin dolor no hay gloria.
El Primo.
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 Primo. El Primo.
El primo.
It sounds to me like Morty Super with Tornado too.
I'm super.
बोलो जुबा केसरी.
Amber, maybe we can try. Let's try Amber.
You can say Amber, I can say Ems, then we have 2 guesses. We can get one.
Okay, I say Amber.
हाई काश प्लेज कितनी सही लगती है यार.
It sounds familiar.
ओके,
What is that?
विदाउट मेकअप देख लिया क्या?
I don't think it's Willow.
Maybe. I don't know.
sounds like a splash brawler. So like, I say we go with it.
Okay, Willow. Ems. Oh, when she pops super.
I would have never got that. I don't
I
play
didn't
with
think
sound.
about that.
What is this? Maybe like a Jackie ulti or something like that?
Willow?
I will still go with Jackie, maybe.
Okay, it's Frost Freeze.
I think Gale super.
Gale, yeah, for sure, will. Stun.
Oh,
I know what it is.
Gale.
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 If I have to guess, maybe something with Lu. I don't know what
Yeah, like I guess Lou. I have heard this sound so many times in my life, but I don't recognize it right now. Maybe Lou. Let's try Lou.
I have a guess.
It's not Lou. Is it?
My guess is Janet, the Janet turret, but I don't know.
I don't know what it sounds.
Sandy super?
Oh, that's what it is.
It's Sandy.
Sandy?
It's Lola.
Lola.
I thought I had it.
Manti?
Lou, I would say.
Welcome back to the Brawl Stars World Finals 2023! This audience is packed because we're about to witness greatness as our East Asian representatives return to the stage. It's Crazy Raccoon! This team is known for their trademark aggressive style. But can they keep that under control in this matchup and dominate their way to the playoffs? And making their stage debut at DreamHack Winter, it's Foot Esports!
फुट Esports, फुट जा.
Lana, Symantec, Drage. They may not have any world titles to their name, but these boys are battle hardened and they're here to show exactly what they can do. Just 2 more matches before we find
ये
out
टेम्पो को दिख
who
कैसे
the
रहा?
top 8 teams
एक्सरे
will be.
विजन भाई, एक्सरे विजन.
Let's get it on with our latest casters. It's Ready and Trav.
Let's get it started. Crazy Raccoon versus Foot. What a matchup this is going to be.
I mean, this group overall is just absolutely incredible. At first,
भाई इसने रेडी बोला, मुझे टेडी सुनाई दिया. मैं टेडी आ रहा है, मैं पागल हो जाता. अभी टेडी आ रहा था, अभी स्ट्रीम बंद कर देता भाई. मैं बोलता हो गया आज का. हेलो नताशा, व्हाट्स अप, हाउ आर यू डूइंग? वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम.
Not the same can be said for SK, but in that challenge, we've seen Foot doing fairly well. They're coming off of the back of some.
But fortunately, it was not Teddy. It was Ready.
Confident about their performance.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very happy now. Hello जयेश. भाई मेरा नाम भी जयेश है. मेरा नाम भी जयेश है. भाई मेरा नाम जयेश नहीं है ना, लेकिन दिक्कत ये है, आपका नाम जयेश है. वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छी बात है ये तो. लेकिन मेरा नाम जयेश नहीं है. आपका नाम जयेश है, कांग्रेचुलेशन. लेकिन मेरा नाम नहीं है भाई जयेश. और यहाँ एक और कोई जयेश है भी नहीं भाई.
Coach, especially with what he said during an interview with BSEN. He said, no, people are not going to be out drafting us anymore. So even if it looks like an outdraft, maybe we'll have to start going back and questioning it. Or
आपने किस पर प्रेडिक्ट किया? क्रेजी रखून. कैसे हो तुम सब? बहुत बढ़िया हैं. आप बताएं कैसे?
Max. It's what was working for them, and I'm guessing it's probably what they're going to stick to.
भाई वोडाफोन फ्री जोन, सबको फ्री में इंटरनेट देगा भाई.
Propelling him to the top of European Brawl Stars, and it's probably what's going to propel him to the top of World Brawl Stars as well, considering how strong he is. I just think it's going to be very back and forward with these drafts.
Well, he was also relatively confident versus this region last year, so
वैसे तो मैं अच्छा नहीं था, आपको देख के हो गया. बस हो गया भाई, हो गया. स्नैपलेक्स पर आपको चैपलेक्स खाना है? चैपलेक्स Alex.
First pick, Crazy Raccoon. They've gotten rid of that hypercharged Lou, the Charlie, as well as the Sandy. They've run that one themselves. They know just how strong it can be.
Come on guys, do make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. If you guys watching this stream onto the Twitch, then do make sure to follow us there as well. Also check out our YouTube channel from there also by clicking on the link in the video description. Just go and check it out and subscribe. Let's go.
Going to be able to have that pretty solid mobility back and
Stu.
able to avoid and not feed some of these supers. And obviously, you know, Crazy Raccoon, their aggression is definitely one thing that's really unparalleled by any team. So they're going to be wanting to go straight to him, and Semantic should be able to avoid.
Gotta have something to block up those shots from Stu as well. Maybe something was spawnable.
मैं भी आया 5 मिनट. मुत्तु स्वामी से मिलने जाना है.
It's going to be difficult for them to run a tank now. They have that last pick still in the pocket. They can still make it work. There's the Max. Wow.
What a surprise.
Yeah, what a shock that we see Max from Crazy Raccoon. I mean, this is just unheard of.
Well, I mean, if it works, you know? I'm not going to complain at him for doing it. It's been absolutely incredible today. Tensai on that Max is pretty much unparalleled by any other player. Crazy Raccoon, though, do still have the second pick. So something got to be brought in that has good synergy with that Max. Sandy, obviously, out the way. So why not a Rosa? Bring in a bit of a tank.
Now, they've run the Rosa before. Combine it with the Max, and you've got a great delivery mechanism for sending that tanky brawler right into enemy backlines. Big problem, though, is that Stu is going to be able to keep his distance from Rosa fairly effectively. Once the speed is at play, that's going to be a different story. And once she also has that hypercharge at play, it's going to be an even more different story. But Fit Esports have some other options to start countering this out. Maisie is a very popular brawler right now to deal with some of these tanks. It'll be more difficult to line up your shots on Max with a brawler like Maisie. Her shots are a little bit slower. Gale is the brawler of choice now. A wider shot, much easier to hit. You can also opt for the slow star power that can slow down any Max pushes without needing a super or anything like that.
And also at the same time, you know, if you don't take that slow in effect, then the stun can be very dangerous in Brawl Ball as well. When you're in that goal mouth, pushing towards, or even defending also, it's very, very solid to stun them out and get it going. It's pretty much the same as, you know, one of those Sandy gadgets. It has the same effect when trying to score. So I definitely think it's a solid pick.
Stu आ चुका है, Gale आ चुका है, तो Bull तो आना ही है ना मेरे भाई. Bull का hypercharge.
This is true. I mean, Bull's hypercharge, it's not really the strongest. I don't see a whole lot of players looking to deal damage to Bull in transit when he's going to be seriously immune to damage, but he does still have that damage boost, and he has the speed boost, more importantly. That's going to be the main striker for this roster. I think really everyone here on Foot Esports has the capability to make a goal. I'm certainly looking mostly to Gale and especially Bull to make that happen. The Crazy Raccoon have the opportunity to either counter this out or double down. Shelly will be their brawler of choice, and this is going to be good for countering out Bull if he gets in close range, but also
Rage.
I think the same. I mean, you know, Gale's gonna have his work cut out. I feel the same with the Stu because Bull's gonna have a very hard time with Shelly.
ने ले लिया Shelly. Bull के सामने आ चुकी है Shelly.
Trying to keep people away as well.
Let's go.
Right, but you know, the other flip side on the other lane would not be as strong. Getting into it then, game number 1 between Foot Esports and Crazy Raccoon. Crazy Raccoon already 1-0 in their group, looking to guarantee their spot.
Yeah, and otherwise it could be going down to the set win percentage, which would be certainly dangerous. Now let's get started. Foot
Esports भाई, Bull की जो कुटाई हुई है.
But Drage and Semantic need to hold the line. A pass up to Drage, quickly abandoned as he doesn't want to push further in. Knew that he would get pinched super hard. They afford some time for Lena to come right back to the
side. Embo not breaking the walls.
Versus Moya, the dash in and the slow.
Another
together, but now he's overextended. Moya looks for an opportunity to score a goal. A pass over to Shetapo. It looks good. No use
no! बहुत ही close रह गया, लेकिन goal तो फिर भी है.
Right-hand side box, but bounces straight into the path of Moya. Not going to complain about that, but a little bit of wall break coming through now as well. Great slow there from the Rosa. Hypercharge coming through from Lene. Not going to have the most effect against the Rosa, but it will against the Max Dave. Oh, nice super from Semantic coming through. Also pass to the left-hand side. And Lene.
Easy goal.
Beautiful.
क्या बात है, बैक टू बैक गोल्स आते हुए, बट गोल्स की बारिश हो चुकी है, लेकिन रोसा का हाइपर चार्ज हो चुका है.
Really, the icing on the cake would be a super from Tensai. We see that gadget on cooldown.
बहुत बढ़िया. क्या बात है, क्या यूज किया है. और भाई साहब.
And the super pop to the same time, but Drage and Semantic refuse to let this ball through. Still, it's 2 versus 3. A pass over to Tensai, one up to Moya.
An easy goal. First game goes to Crazy Raccoon.
Esports falling behind early on, and it was a pretty convincing game at that. You know, for Esports, they had their moment, they had their goal, and it was from Lene making some brilliant plays in that ball and putting himself in a position to be passed through too. So really nice stuff from him, but I still think they've got a long way to go to defeat Crazy Raccoon here.
Foot Esports, I think especially Lena needs to rethink the bull strategy here. He did get some good damage in, but he didn't finish off the kill on Demoya, and even then he wound up being fairly overextended, leaving a void in control on his team. Foot Esports now looking to get possession of this ball to boot. Moya on the left side is farming up some hypercharge. Lena has a super to show for it. Semantic also trying to chime in. No real movement so far. Tensai would especially love to have a super here to combine with Shtitampo's super that he's now gotten ready. No big moves just yet. Here comes a super in from Shtitampo. The clay pigeons to match.
Good
another
one.
super with
Good
Lena
one.
shut down.
Good
Semantic.
one.
He's not in position to make this happen. He will be able to pass that ball to the back left, which affords some time for Dredge and Lena to respawn. But the 3 versus 2 is in full force.
Say Dredge now trying to make a break for it, but just going to get rid of that ball and ain't coming in with the super. Going to be able to knock Moya back, stop him from using that super, gets the damage done and gets the kill along with it. Now Dredge and Samantha going to pinch in on this side. A little bit of help from Lena as well, has that hypercharge, has that super, and that can be dangerous in a position like this.
Semantic now pushing the ball forward. Lena's going to be the first to fall to Moya's hypercharge. Semantic now backing
GG's.
up. Moya can receive this pass. Dredge doesn't have the damage out, but here comes a super from Moya, and they're just going to walk
Oh भाई बॉल ड्रॉप हो गई थी लेकिन मिल गया गोल.
Almost defended there as Tensai did pass the ball to Dredge, but Lenane couldn't quite get it. Super hypercharge can be used. Lenane going forward now. Same play as last time. Can they make it happen?
अरे भाई साहब.
The damage coming through, but not the goal yet. Cleared by Shtitampo, but not far.
फिर भी गोल आते हुए.
And evens out this game.
क्या बात.
What a fast goal there from Foot Esports. Crazy Raccoon are going to try and convert one of their own. Moya now in with the super. Tensai is ready to get the pass up, but Lena is just too beefy to be shut down.
बुल भाई खा गया पूरा उसको भाई साहब. रोसा का पूरा निकल जाता है वो तो.
Foot just want to retain control of mid.
1-1 गोल के साथ दोनों एक साथ वापस करते हुए. क्या यहाँ पर कौन से सुपर है गेल का अभी तक मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया है. क्योंकि अभी तक कोई दीवार से टकराया ही नहीं है. क्योंकि दीवार सारी पहले ही टूट जाती हैं. और गोल के लिए वहां पे थ्रो कर दिया जाए गोल होगा. और इजी गोल होगा यदि बॉल लेके ही घुस जाएंगे. क्रेजी रैकून विंस द फर्स्ट सेट. लेट्स गो. भाई पूरा फास्ट पेस गेम चलते हुए मजा आ गया देख के.
The overall game was definitely sided towards Crazy Raccoon, and the only real plays from Foot were coming from that hypercharge of Lenane.
ऐसा फास्ट पेस गेम होता भाई पूरा 5 सेट तक भी जाए तो मजा आता है देखने में. नहीं तो वो टिंगुर टिंगुर लगा रहते हैं बंदे लगा मजा नहीं आता.
The overall comp from Crazy Raccoon just seemed that little bit better.
Once more, I mean, I think this is fairly visionary. I think this is fairly inventive from Foot
हाँ सोच के
Esports.
पागल हो गए.
On that
क्या
comp
बात.
working exactly
पागल खाने
as
का
it
नंबर
needed to. There wasn't
चाहिए
really
क्या?
fallback. There wasn't really a way for this comp to evolve. We didn't see a whole lot of difference in gameplay or strategy from one game to the next.
Yeah, well, replays coming through. I mean, it was a very close game. We had some good moments, some good defenses, but overall, just dominance from Crazy Raccoon coming through. And I mean, there really wasn't a lot of stopping them. You know, Dredge did fairly well to be able to get away from Moya, but the hypercharge is just too much. And I feel like in certain circumstances like this, even if you have the ball, even if you have the gale, there's just no stopping it. Dredge tried his best to get a little bit of a breakthrough, open up a bit more room when playing through here. But overall, it just kind of seemed like the Shelly dealt with his lane, the Rosa dealt with his lane, and Tensai's just there to do what he does best.
Pretty much just shoved that ball through the goal. Dredge, he was trying to get that DPS through, but it just was not enough. I think that was one of the biggest issues here for Foot Esports is that Crazy Raccoon, they were able to consistently force that Rosa through. And I think also we saw a bit of a lane diff there from Shtitampo. He was able to consistently get damage on Moya, but more importantly, Moya was getting that super fairly quickly.
ये वाला बहुत बढ़िया था भाई. I like that. All three got together, took the ball. Let's go to the goal. Hello Rex, what's up? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream.
But in terms of kills and DPS, I mean, kills-wise, it's definitely the side of Crazy Raccoon. 576, 244 for the side of Foot Esports.
Just wonderful stats here on both sides, honestly. I think we saw a pretty scrappy match from Foot Esports, but obviously the victory does go to Crazy Raccoon. They had a much more scrappy comp, really good at shoving that ball through the goal. While we saw Foot Esports, theirs is more reliant on getting the ball in front of the goal and then passing the ball up to him, which is not something you can do very reliably.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the moment, isn't it? You're only able to get that done when you have the hypercharge, when you go aggressive like that. It's a once in a game thing, and that's why they had the one goal in each of the games. Split, however, is up next. We're heading to Hot Zone to see if Foot Esports can claw this back to 1-1, or if Crazy Raccoon will continue their dominance over the European region and move yet another set ahead.
And thankfully for Foot, this is also a change of pace. We move from a less fast-paced mode into more of a control-based one. So the momentum breaker, not all the way, but at least halfway there for a change of mode. Here it comes. The ban's already flying through. Crazy Raccoon getting rid of some of the usual suspects, plus Gale, which seems to be a Foot Esports preference. The Dynamite ban on the side of Foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think even without seeing this counter, it's pretty fair to say who had the first pick. The bans, obviously, Gale, Lou, and Charlie. Pretty much the three of the most banned brawlers throughout this duration of this World Finals. But Ruffs is going to be the first pick coming in from Foot Esports. I like it, bouncing around some of the sides, wall breaks, so they can pivot to a little bit more of an open comp later on if they need. And I think overall, it's a very solid first pick.
Well, 2-3 coming in from Crazy Raccoon. Have to be considering what they can do about Ruffs here. Ruffs would ideally not be running the second gadget. If you can throw down the bags, that's fantastic. It prevents a lot of things that Crazy Raccoon might prefer to run that are single target brawlers, so it also frees those up for Foot Esports to run. Crazy Raccoon could decide to brave the storm and go directly into those bags anyway. Barley is going to be a one-size-fits-all solution for any sort of spawnables that spawn a large group. It's going to be very easy to take out any of those bags. Foot Esports might opt to run it anyway, though.
Yeah, I mean, Barley's a very, very smart pick into the Ruffs. But at the same time, a little bit later, towards the end of the game, the Ruffs is going to be able to break up, get some stuff done. And I mean, Rosa's going to double down on that idea. Yes, it's going to be very good at early games, same as Barley. But once stuff starts to open up, it becomes a lot more difficult. Not that Rosa still can't do it, because she definitely can. We saw her in the last game. Stu started opening up, and the whole map did. And then she still kind of dominated. So we'll see if they're going to be able to bring that kind of same idea into the second set. But for Esports, they've still got a lot of time, 2 more picks to be able to try and counter this one out.
Okay, some kind of anti-tank would be ideal for Foot Esports, and there are plenty of options to go by, but the ones that are a bit beefier, have some more health, have some more resilience on the point would be far ideal. There's the Jackie.
Hello Rajinder Kaizenba, welcome back.
So this is going to be a fairly good way to deal with the Rosa. The biggest struggle is going to be for Rosa to get her super before engaging with the Jackie, since usually that's the only way to reliably come up unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like the Jackie's like that good into the Rosa, you know. Rosa-Jackie matchups going to be pretty similar, but then once you get that super, you're going to be dominating, and I feel like that's a bit of an issue for Esports. Yes, the hypercharge can help.
Palette incoming for the Crazy Raccoon के सामने ड्रेज ने ले रखी है, लेकिन क्या होगा जब आ जाएगा सामने? कौन? फ्रैंक आ जाए वापस से, मजा आ जाएगा भाई। वो आता लगे कि मेल्ट कर देगी कॉलेट तो उसको, लेकिन फिर भी
Barley, and also as a good way to get Jackie some much needed mobility. It's a very valuable thing to have for her, but the DPS must have been lacking for Rosa, and also accomplishes relatively the same thing as Colonel Ruffs when it comes to breaking open those walls. But Crazy Raccoon, Tara that'll be able to shoot right through the sandbags. It'll be a phenomenal counter for Jackie, and also now that you have those shades spawning, it'll be a good way to deal with any damage that Colette has to offer. I think that this is a phenomenal pick to deal with every single
just looking at like a wow.
I mean, it seems to be good against the brawlers of Foot, but just on this map, it just feels weird to see Tara come in, you know? And this is me, the biggest Tara lover in existence.
Just manage rule with your real.
So, you know, there you have it. I kind of maybe doubt it a little bit. Yes, it's good against the brawlers. Yes, it has decent matchups. But I feel like it's the same as the Colette. You've got to be able to build those angles for her. Otherwise, her peeking ability is just not going to be that good on this map.
It'll be a bit of a struggle. We'll see how she fares inside some of these bushes. If she decides to take that route, here it comes around the left side. Semantics already bullying Tensai over here with these ricocheting shots. He's struggling to move through. On the right side, though, it's looking like massive profit for Crazy Raccoon Tensai. He pops down some of those shades on the left, but it's to no avail. Semantic keeps on stuffing him back as he's opted also to run the second gadget, since it would be useless to run the bags into Moya. Moya's now getting the idea of rotating over towards the left side, where he knows that Semantic can't counter him effectively. On the right, Lina is forced to fend for himself. Tensai tries to chime in. He's going to look for an angle, but Shitapo, he's got it all covered. He's got it all on lock just by himself. So far, it's a lead for Crazy Raccoon, but no significant steps on that left lane.
And now they're looking good for both sides. That's the thing, you know? Like, they've got Moya in this matchup against the Colette, against the Ruffs, and on the right-hand side, you've got the Rosa and the Tara against the Jackie. That seems pretty solid for me across both sides for Crazy Raccoon here. But Semantic, he really can't catch a break. He's just going to be able to eat some shots and try and move through it. But last call comes in, going to be pushing him into a bit of a compromised position. Falls low. Drake has to cover, and Moya gets a few % here and there.
It's very brave for Moya to be moving in here when he's all out in the open. Semantic's going to be breaking open these walls, so it diminishes the value that Moya is able to offer. On the right side, big assault here from Lina. Shitapo tries to stay alive using the super. Lina completely shut down by Shitapo with the shield active. And now
उड़ा दिया भाई.
advances on the left
Rage
lane
बेटा
as they
बन
start
गया
to capture
भाई.
this zone.
Yeah, I mean, some
अरे भाई भागते हुए आइए, अरे जाके भैया भागते हुए आइए.
He gets two. Now the pinch should be there for Shitampo as well, and Foot can start building this back up. The majority of Crazy Raccoon's percentage, it's all on the right, which is a zone that they should have been guaranteed anyway, and the wall breaks start to come through.
Shitampo needs this combo. Here it comes. The hypercharge and the super popped at the same time guarantees a victory over Lina. Tensai on the left side with so many shades spawned, and Shitampo's going straight for the spawn. 80% captured for Crazy Raccoon. Just got to see some control on this left side. Lina's going to look for whatever he can. Drage even with the super shut down on the way there. Lina the next to fall if Shitampo gets the kill. There it is. And a supply drop from the sky isn't enough to shove him off this point. As we count up to 100%, Tensai just needs to stay alive. There it is.
And that is gone. बढ़िया खेल रहे हैं भाई, बढ़िया.
Ready, set. Is it more East Asia dominance throughout the entirety of the Brawl Stars Championship World Finals? Because this is looking exactly like it's going to be. For Esports just really aren't getting a bit of a look in. They're getting the percentage they should on their side, and barely even that. You know, when Barley rotated over to the left-hand side, Semantic couldn't move, and the Colette couldn't move either. It's just really beautiful from Crazy Raccoon, and every little matchup, they just know how to win.
What development can we even see from Foot? I mean, Lina pushing in here versus Shitampo. He knows now not to engage when Shitampo has that super active, just to wait it out and let his ammo do the work once he survived those initial punches. So already a lane victory for Lina on the right lane does look promising. Moya is forced to rotate away from this zone on the left so that Drake can move in. Lina, he's all the way in enemy territory. Tensai's debating using his super. Decides, no, it could be better used somewhere else. Just save it as a last resort, because so far Crazy Raccoon are doing a fine job of capturing the right side. There's a kill onto Lina. And maybe a push in from Moya and Tensai on the left side, being very apprehensive, but they baited out every single gadget from Symantec.
Yeah, I mean, that's 4, possibly 3, depending on what gadget he's using. Already used, and Shitampo dominating the lane. He's just having to run away, and even whilst he's running, he's not healing because he's got to shoot towards some of those support from beyond. Shitampo coming through, gets 1, should be able to get 2.
और भाई दोनों को ले गया.
But what does
क्या
that
बात?
mean when CR are dominating both sides with a 40% lead?
Lina's gonna try and push in, go right.
अरे पूरा मेल्ट कर दिया
Just trying
उसको.
to inhabit Crazy Raccoon's backlines. The attempt of using a super comes up empty-handed. Shitampo on the right side is actually in a very suboptimal matchup. He's still gonna go for it. It's a hypercharge and gets a kill versus his one hard counter on the opposing side. The capture for Crazy Raccoon on the right side looks very, very promising. Foot Esports have a colossal comeback to achieve here.
वैकेशन का उम्र का टेंशन है पर करने का मन नहीं है. वाह, टेंशन रखो. तुम एक बढ़िया कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉय बन सकते हो, आई गेस. और भाई दोनों को ले गया.
Shitampo has the super. We gotta see some moves in from Moya. The last call could be activated. Shitampo now gonna push in with that super. A counter from Drage. Another super. The double kill looks crystal clear. But Moya's still here to fight. Drage has another super also to counter. 90% captured so far by Crazy Raccoon. And they only have this left zone to make it happen. It's gotta be quick action from Foot Esports because Shitampo's so alive and healthy. They're gonna make it happen. It's just Lina left to answer, and Crazy Raccoon
Easy peasy.
More close games, but it's just not close enough for Foot Esports. They're getting the percentage back, and this is what we said, you know. Early game, yes, CR should destroy them. But late game, when the walls start to be broken up, when Rosa and Barley are a little bit less useful, then
CR better than whole NA teams. अरे तो they are 2 times world champion ना मेरा भाई. Zeta वाले थे.
Comp just ain't comping. We need to see the counter strats from Foot. But so far, it seems to be all a Crazy Raccoon story. Even the things that looked sort of promising, like, you disagree with me on this, but the Jackie into the Rosa.
हाँ इन्हें पूरा scan system लगा रखा है.
Not be a little bit more patient. I think in this particular matchup, where no, never mind, not this one. Shitampo still shuts him down. But later on, he learned, okay, let's let the super ride out, and then we can take the win from there. But that's only one instance among many of Shitampo winning that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just, you know, slight impatience maybe, but it's hard to be patient when you see your opponent just building up that zone over and over and over and dominating you time and time again. It's really difficult to be able to remain patient and not try something special. We did see a few trades. Drake had a few moments down this left-hand side as well when he did defend well. But it's things like that, you know, you're not breaking the walls. You're not really... I mean, I suppose Ruffs is going to be pretty decent at bouncing round, but at the same time, I feel like some wall break was needed.
And they did get some wall break in there. They were able to deal with Moya quite effectively once that wall break was present on the left side. On the right side, it wasn't so much of an issue, but they did opt to get a supply drop on the right lane, which was relatively helpful for Lana later on.
क्रेजी रैकून ने आग लगा दी, आग लगा दी, आग लगा दी। अरे बस करो भाई, पानी फेंकने के लिए किसी को लाना पड़ेगा, इतनी आग लगा दी आपने।
343 DPS is definitely something that FUT Esports have got to be scared of going into future sets. Twice, Crazy Raccoon have picked up that Rosa now, and twice it's been the dominant force that is against them. They've got to pick up on it. They've got to have some kind of countermeasure. I mean, not that they haven't either. They had Gale, they had Bull in the first. They've got Colette, they've got Ruffs in this one, but nothing seems to work.
2-0 हो चुका ऑलरेडी। क्या ये भी क्लीन स्वीप होने वाला है? 3-0 होने वाला है? क्या लगता है?
You said it yourself. Crazy Raccoon apparently don't lose draft accords. It's clear now.
According to themselves, they do not lose draft anymore, and no one will be able to best them, which is a harrowing thought for any opponent that will face them down the line should they close it out here on last stop. It could be FUT's last stop, unless they're able to stop this momentum.
Yeah, there's a lot of stopping to be done, and the first of it is trying to get this one set on the board. Because even in sets like this, it really does matter. You've got to start building them up. I mean, it's very, at this point, 2-0 up to Crazy Raccoon. It's unlikely we're going to have a tie break. But sets mean so much if there is one, And I mean, it's got to be 3 in a row for FUT Esports now, and I don't really like their chances after seeing what Crazy Raccoon have brought to the table in the first two. Piper going to be the first pick on last stop. It's been a bit of a while since I've seen something like this. Usually we go for the 8-bits, we go for the nannies before Piper, stuff like that. But maybe they've kind of
इनको भी 3-0 पेल लेंगे, देखते हैं क्या होता है।
Also, the way to execute this would be to break open the bushes to allow Piper some vision. So that is going to have to be something that is achieved with the next couple of picks, which might be challenging if Crazy Raccoon decide, okay, we'll run the Amber, then that's one of your major options for breaking open the bushes, now completely belonging to Crazy Raccoon. So they have a couple of picks in a row. Otis is the direction that they want to go through, and I think this is a fairly good option if you want to fight in that bush, if you want to hide in the bush. Meg is going to be soaking up so much damage here. A fairly good mid.
Yeah, I mean, Meg on last stop, it's decent, and I don't hate it as much as I usually would, but we are back over to FUT Esports for their next two picks, see what they bring to the table. But the Otis
6-0 हो जाएगा फिर टोटल। वाह, क्या बात बोली।
Fat Splatter can cover it for a few seconds, similar effect to what Sticky Residue would do or something like that. But
देखो, अगर ये अभी खत्म हो जाता तो ये लिटरली 1.5 घंटा पहले पूरा खत्म कर देंगे डे 2। 1.5 घंटे पहले सब लोग अपने घर चले जाएंगे। सब खुश हो जाएंगे। चले वाह जल्दी खत्म होगा।
And that's another one that could be taken out of Crazy Raccoon's playbook. I don't see it doing a ton versus the Meg since she has a lot of damage output, especially when those hatchlings get in close range. Maisie now available to FUT Esports, so they've decided to go for not any breaking of bushes, breaking of walls at all, which could leave Piper quite vulnerable if Crazy Raccoon go for a big counter pick, something that threatens the Piper a lot. We've seen them run the Max. Max is a great way to deal with Piper.
Well, I mean, I'd love to see them play Max again. It really is something special when we do see it, and Tensai might be the one to pick that up. So we'll see if that's going to be their last pick. It's going to be the Amber, and they're going to be the ones burning down the bushes, apparently helping out Piper a little bit down these lanes. But at the same time, if you do it in a controlled fashion, if you burn up opponents' bushes and not your own, then I think you can help.
That's one option. The other is that you can get some slowing if you're using the gear to do it, so you can make your opponents a little bit slower, a little bit easier to line up some of those shots. She's got solid damage as well. No serious complaints here, but it's not much of a counter pick necessarily. It doesn't directly address any of the brawlers on the opposing side, just a good brawler for this map.
Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty solid. But I mean, maybe play down one of those right lanes, I'd imagine, just trying to burn down some of those bushes, stop them from aggressing as much as I'm sure that they'd like to down that right. That's usually the lane that both of these people do lose. But actually, we're going to see it on the left, playing against Eve here. Going to be trying to burn down some of those babies that she's going to be bringing in. Lanaine playing the Maisie down the right, and Moya already out of mech, which is something we kind of expect, I feel, against a Piper.
Sort of what you learned to expect. She also does have some resilience, though, throwing down the toolbox to tank a little bit of extra damage. Only 3 gems over his head and already taken down Semantic. Looks to chime in on the left side. Big damage from Tensai. Gets to finish off the kill. Drage with a nice prediction and a tap on the left. And the hatchlings come down to deal with Moya. It's only a temporary solution. Drage has a lot of help to chew through on Moya, who pops down this gadget. It's additional reload speed, too. A nice kill there for Moya as he penetrates the back line. 6 gems over his head and 2 more waiting at spawn. Lena tries to come in here. In fact, almost pops Moya out of that mech, but still 7 gems over Moya's head. 2 more at mid, ready to be picked up.
Yeah, well, great taps from Linane and Drage over that right-hand side. Now the babies do come in. Tensai's going to have to use a lot of his oil on that, and Moya not going to be in the most favorable of matchups through the mid here against this Piper. Does get brought out of his mech by Linane, who has that hypercharge now coming in. Going to throw out some shots. Shatampo going to go down. Tensai should follow as well. Another hypercharge super, but doesn't get Moya just yet. Starting to bring these gems back, though, and FUT Esports have a sign of life.
Well, possession of the bushes on the right side completely belonged to FUT Esports. Shatampo's going to try it. Totally pinched by Drage and the knot. Executed in the same moment. Now big push in from the knot. Push back on a Tensai. And Crazy Raccoon are fully trapped in spawn now unless he can find some angle, which is going to be difficult. Shatampo opts for the lane switch. Tensai now trying to occupy the right side of this map. Linaz on super low health. Big pinch. And this is the beginning of Crazy Raccoon beginning to wrest back control. Drage with a nice tap on a Tensai though, and it's not all over just yet. Drage needs to tee up some big shots. No contact just yet, but Moya is as vulnerable as he's gonna get. Now here's the mech coming down from the sky, and 2 more gems for Crazy Raccoon to tie it up 9-9.
Well, down goes Drage now as well. Linane's got to make a move, try to protect these gems, stop Moya from getting them. There was one on the floor there. He does get a kill. Now shoots out some more with the hypercharge too. 1 gem lays on the floor. Drage might be able to claim it as Tensai.
इतना क्यों डर के खेलने लगते हैं लोग? एक जेम उठाना था वो भी नहीं उठा पाया.
Oh no, they can definitely even this one out.
Moya needs to pick up a gem at mid. That's the win condition. Drage is holding on to that ammo. He's forced to jump back. Lena looks for a kill. Moya swipes him out of existence. And it's all tied up here. No countdown until the next gem is picked up, and it's going to be for Tensai. Moya's safe and sound on the right side, but it's only temporary. He needs this mech back. Lena has so much health, but he finally manages to chew through. 1 more gem is the win condition with just a few seconds left. FUT Esports cannot tie this up by picking up anything at mid. A kill on the Tensai or Moya is necessary, but they're fully out of reach. Crazy Raccoon approach match point.
मैच पॉइंट पे पहुंच चुके हैं भाई.
On that right-hand side at the end there, kind of just jump padded in and walked in a straight line. Seemed a little bit off for me, and I'm not sure if that's kind of the pressure or just a bit of frustration. And now facing this match point.
कौन है भाई FUT Esports के इतने सपोर्टर भाई साहब? कहाँ से FUT Esports जीत रही है? FUT के तो फूट गए भाई. अंडे फूट गए उनके.
For FUT Esports, this is where you see the reverse sweep born, but they need to make big moves. Drage froze on the spot there for a moment, and Crazy Raccoon get to reap the rewards fully.
सो गया वहाँ पे.
On the right side also.
बूढ़ा हो गया भाई, बूढ़ा हो गया वो.
All on his own.
उसको रिटायर दे दो भाई, क्यों चिल्ला रहे हो?
To get the jump on a Tensai and a kill. It's a fantastic comeback for FUT Esports, but they have to play this objective, which is so difficult versus Moya, who has so much health.
I mean, look at the placement of this oil as well, slowing Drage in his tracks pretty much permanently if he doesn't burn it down, and Semantic too low to do too much on the right. Linane falls on the right, sorry, and Semantic's low on the left. Drage being burned down, toolbox placed as well. Moya just trying to stay in this mech, and now that's the 8th gem in his hand, and not a single one for FUT.
Lena's looking vulnerable. There's a kill from Shatampo, and things are crumbling from FUT Esports. Just complete silence on their end. No major plays just yet. Need to see 1 more gem. Moya, he's perfectly in position to pick this one up. Running it back with 10 gems in a countdown. Only 15 seconds remain for FUT Esports to get a kill on Moya.
Yeah, Tensai's there for the defense as well. Semantic now joining them. I think he's got no jumps left to be able to get over this wall easy as well now. Linane coming in, does have a dash. Going to be able to use that super, but not enough. Moya's out of mech and he does go down. There's a launch pad there, but nobody can get the gems and get out. Drage could have picked up 2 and escaped through this super, but it's not going to be enough. It's a reset, but now Crazy Raccoon are established in this defensive position.
A near miss here for FUT Esports. They can still bring it back. They have to fight all the way to Shatampo with 5 seconds left and no one in sight. Crazy Raccoon, they close it out. A full 6 games.
It's that World Final. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Crazy Raccoon, आपने हमारे 1.5 घंटे बचा लिए. Thank you so much. अरे मनु की शादी में चलोगे? इसकी शादी जल्द करवा देंगे जब इसकी नौकरी लगेगी. अच्छा, वो तो ठीक है, मैं तो चले जाऊंगा, लेकिन वो बुला के इसको रहा है. तेरे को बुला रहा है तो फिर मैं नहीं आ रहा भाई. बीसी में नहीं झिलाता तू भाई, फ्रंट फेस टू फेस क्या ही झिलाएगा.
Their first tough matchup by the looks of how they've handled this group, to be honest, because that was flawless. 6.
तेरे को तो मैं पूरा रस्सियों से बांध के लेके जाऊंगा, कुएं में फेंक दूंगा भाई, फिर ही जाऊंगा मैं, तो नहीं जाऊंगा.
and it's not a good look for those two teams, but they will be facing each other next, and that is a decider game, and it's a massive grudge match.
Oh man, I mean, what a grudge match it's going to be. I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. For the purpose of the show, it's such a spectacle to behold. We'll see Foot versus SK next, but rolling back the tape and reflecting on what Crazy Raccoon had going on here, and especially Foot, because there were such high expectations for Foot coming into this match versus Crazy Raccoon. They felt very confident, and were also playing very well in the weeks leading up, in the months leading up. They were doing fairly well in all of their matches and in all of their scrims. Foot Esports, when it came to their drafts and versus Crazy Raccoon, they looked fairly solid at times, but Crazy Raccoon still shut them out without a speck of opportunity for victory.
I mean, this is the thing, as you say, Foot Esports have looked so good leading up to this competition. They've been looking absolutely amazing, you know, they qualified to World Finals through those Season 3 Gamescom Finals for the SPS, and they looked good at that live event as well. Didn't really look like they were having any mistakes.
इसको हाथी बना लेंगे, चिंता ना करो. हाँ, ये भी सही है.
World Finals just a couple of weeks after, but they just don't seem to be bringing the same energy. And if they are, then how good does that make Crazy Raccoon look?
I mean, look at these stats too. Look, I mean, everyone's getting their kills, everyone's doing their
part. तेरे को तो हाथी बना रहे हैं, तू कहाँ से नाचेगा? हाथी को नाचने थोड़ी दिए जाते हैं.
6-0. I just want everyone to remember that 6-0 in terms of games won versus losses.
Ready, set. What do we say? What do we say about East Asia? You know, even I underestimated them. To be honest, you know, we've kind of been discussing who we think was going to be winning Worlds, and
they
weren't even really in my top 2, top 3. You know, I was kind of like, okay, after Masters.
Now it is going to be a tough decision. यदि Crazy Raccoon तो भाई obvious था कि इनको मैं तो इसी को चुनना है. अब जिसको चुनोगे?
You talk about faith in themselves too, and I think that's a major storyline that we'll get to see some development of. As far as our most valuable player, our MVP, in the last several matches, we asked you guys online to vote, and you all selected Shtetapo, the all-time GOAT of East Asia.
And no surprise, really, to be honest with you. He did play that very, very well. But I say, you know, he played that Rosa well in the second set. Moira in the first set played it perfectly. Then I think they were a bit of a cohesive unit in that third. So any of them really could have been that main man. But I'm really hoping we get to see some more really nice plays from him tomorrow. And the same from the rest of the Crazy Raccoon boys as well.
It's something I think is always worth pointing out about these players is that they work as such a cohesive unit. And it's something that I think sets them apart from everyone else is that they don't necessarily play the individual lanes. They like to duo up. They like to create these unwinnable 2v1 scenarios for their opponents, and I think they really do it better than anyone else on the block.
Yeah, no, they really do, and I mean, it's so tough to be able to face up against a team like that. So SK and Foot Esports, you know, they're clearly not at the pinnacle of their of how well they've been playing throughout the year. You know, SK, they were very back and forward. Towards the end of the year,
I have shared Foot.
A bit worse again. They looked incredible. After that, they looked a bit sketchy, to be honest with you. So I understand why they kind of took a bit.
मुझे लेकिन पता नहीं क्यों SK में ज़्यादा मजा आ रहा है. SK ज़्यादा अच्छा खेली as compared to Foot Esports. उनकी थोड़ी कम धुलाई हुई थी. तो मुझे पता नहीं क्यों लग रहा है SK होना चाहिए. कम धुलाई खाई थी उन लोगों ने.
Yeah, okay, this does mean a Foot loss, but I don't think it's really that cut and dry.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a little bit of a look into the group as a whole, because we know that Crazy Raccoon have qualified.
कौन SK वोट कर रहा है? क्या बात है? 4 वोट हैं जिसमें कि 3 तो SK को मिले हैं.
SK and Foot down on 0-1, and we know what that means, really. We know what that means. Grudge match. It's been building up to this for the entire year. One of them will be going home, and one of them will be going to day 3 of the World Finals.
And it's the very last match of our group stages as well. It really does.
चलो भाई, SK वालों को दे देते हैं, मजे कर रहे हैं थोड़ा.
SK Gaming and Foot Esports. Can SK Gaming redeem themselves, and can Foot Esports fulfill the expectations that they've created for themselves in all of the fans watching around the world for the entire year?
I mean, you know, we've had some.
जब करेगा तब जाऊंगा अगर इनवाइट दिया तो.
Wow. Gamescom Drage kind of, you know, threw a bit of shade at SK.
जैसे ये बात मनु को पता चली, मनु ने सोच लिया है कि अब वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ भाग के शादी करेगा, मंदिर में जाकर कर लेगा, किसी को नहीं बताएगा. बोले इतने भंड लोग आएंगे शादी में, फिर तो हो गई शादी. रहने दो, मैं तो भाग के कर लूंगा भाई.
But the mental is really the biggest thing. We gotta welcome them up to the stage. Frankie, take it away.
This is the best way I can think of to end the group stage with the ultimate European grudge match. So first of all, please welcome to the stage, SK Gaming! IKO said that the start of this year was incredibly tough. But since then, they've made a team change. They've brought in Ope, and they're hoping that he is going to give them the boost they need to take this all-important victory and their place in the playoffs. And next up, their last opponents of the group stage. It's Foot Esports! Not long ago, Symantec was the poster boy of SK Gaming, his rival today. And by his side is Drage, one of the most experienced players in the Brawl Stars competitive scene. So we're sure to see fireworks in the arena today. All right then, DreamHack Winter, let me hear you. Are you ready for the game? All right then, let's head over to Trav and Uber to call the action.
And one final time in the BSC, it's time to renew the rivalry between Foot Esports and SK Gaming, in the words of Drage. Of course, with the knockout of SK Gaming, forced them to go to LCQ. He says, bro, I hate SK. I hope they have fun.
ये मोटा हर बार चलता है, इसलिए हार रहे हैं.
I mean, it's going to be an absolutely incredible game. I cannot wait to see the heat that it goes on
ये उंगली दिखा रहा है काला वाला.
Back and forward. The player reactions are going to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure you'll be able to hear Symantec absolutely screaming his head off across that stage, and I'm sure SK will give it back.
I said to Symantec, how do you feel about SK obviously going up against your old team? And he looks at me for a couple seconds and he goes, what do you mean they kicked me? What do you think I feel about this team? And that was all I needed to hear. That's right, only a bad blood, and it's sure to come to a boil in this 5-set series. We're going to be starting on Heist. It'll be time to head over to Kaboom Canyon. I mean, a map we've already seen played out quite a few times here. We've seen a lot of Cordelia's play some Gale as well. We've seen obviously the bounce.
चलता नहीं चिल्लाता. Wow.
I actually got a chance to watch Foot scrim this very map last night. Some interesting picks they've worked in. I think it was against STMN. Great scrim to watch. They've definitely prepared themselves. And SK Gaming said, no.
अब चार्ज काउंटर पे कभी बोले हो टिक्की करारी कर दो. ना भाई.
Yeah, I mean, the Cordelia is also going to be taken off the table. Charlie and the Colt. I mean, we've seen some good stuff from Foot Esports with that Colt as well, burning down that safe, and obviously Hypercharge kind of doubled down on that damage as well. Opens up that super, allows it to be a lot easier to hit. OP going to secure himself the nanny early on.
Yeah, of course, that Hypercharge on Colt widens that bullet storm, but it means there's more bullets in it, and that's enough to sort of connect with that rather large hitbox of the safe. Nani here, of course, a really popular pick. Often see, you know, that warp blast used to swap places with the peep and get in that bottom corner of the map to draw a player from your opposition back, force them to deal with you. Bonnie going to come here for Foot Esports, a great long-range option with that all-in potential if it comes down to a race.
Tara going to be joining it as well. Has the
मैं तो बहुत बोला हूँ आइसक्रीम के स्टॉल पे जाके खुद का स्कूप खुद ही ले लेता हूँ. ऐसा बोलना पड़ता है.
That she can unleash when she's in that smaller form is absolutely deadly towards the high safe.
Yeah, that's going to be a great.
खाने ही तो जाते हैं शादी में, और क्या वहाँ पे जानवरों से मिलने कौन जाए.
It's been quite the road for SK Gaming, and a big ask here for Ope.
एक ही सवाल, सबका रिजल्ट क्या आया? रिजल्ट क्या आया आंटी? बस आ गया, मजा ही आ गया.
Yeah, I mean,
SK Gaming 67%, 33% for the Foot Esports.
Is so minimal, and the HP that she's got is even less. So it is really, you know, you've got to hope that you can get the control from it. Put your nanny in a position where that damage gear can be activated, where she can get so much DPS. And Griff, I think this might be one of the first times we're seeing this piggyback to break open that mid. Maybe send the Meg through a little bit earlier on. Probably a very solid idea. But the DPS that he can throw out as well is very good. Burning through some of these Tara gadgets is going to be a great thing.
This is also a brawler taken away from Symantec. He loves the Griff on this map. I saw him scrimming that very pick here. So that might throw a spanner in the works now for Foot Esports as they try and figure out their last pick. It'll be Chuck coming in again. So really interesting now. Both teams have these elements to get behind enemy lines and draw people back, right? You know the Chuck is just going to go for the safe. There's some all in potential.
शादी में जो झूला रहता है हवा वाला, उसमें को झूलने ही नहीं देते हैं. झूला फट जाएगा हवा वाला, हवा तेरे अंदर ज्यादा है, टूट जाएगा भाई.
doesn't really measure up to some of these other picks here. They might just try and race him.
भाई फिर चक
Speaking to just instant, literally backstage.
अरे भाई कितनी बकबक करता है ये चपर 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 चपर
If you've just got a chuck, sometimes it struggles. But if you've got a chuck and you've got a Bonnie, you know you can go towards that safe. One of them's always going to be there, and that forces them into a heavy, heavy defense.
Here it is. Let's put pen to paper in another chapter in the FUT Esports SK rivalry. No pleasantries exchanged. We're straight out of the gates, hitting hard and fast as Lanar's the first casualty. Semantic also struggles on that right-hand side. The impact of the Meg, even though she's out of the mech, she got the job done in controlling mid.
Well, Lenane just going to be working towards this super now as well. Another post for Lenane for Semantic to build up here, getting ready to chug towards that opposing safe. OP back in the mech now as well. Griff Soup comes down, but a Tara Soup from Dre to counter it out. Gets the kill, but Nani, first signs of life, first signs of damage on that safe, and it's quite a lot early on.
Semantic finally stepping forward here to get OP out of the mech once more. So there's a window now for FUT Esports to get more aggressive. A substantially weakened SK Gaming lineup will have to deal with this, and I love that from Yoshi. Gets out of dodge here now as we have the dive. Lanar on that Bonnie made his way towards a safety, but Chaos instantly comes back to defend. OP will be dealt with though with that gravity at the top of the map.
Yeah, Lenane just burning down time here, letting SK come back and allowing Drage and Semantic to go forwards. Now Semantic comes through towards that safe, getting some damage down. Griff super backwards as well coming through. Lenane not going down because OP can't deal the damage onto him, getting some damage on safe. But now it was time for Semantic to retreat and Drage to slot into this mid, but he does go down as well.
Very much on the table here, but this is a little lackluster from FUT Esports. Again, Semantic wants to commit onto the safe, drawing 3 players back, buying time for FUT to get their respawns in play. Lanar though, yeah, that picker card is going to claim him easily enough. SK have the damage here. It's a close one so far, but they're about to get some safe damage of their own.
Semantic goes straight away as well, and this might be a base race now. Nani damage gear on Super as well. Jump from Lenane straight onto OB, get him out of that mech and stop that damage from coming through. Tara pull there as well, but Chaos doesn't actually get caught on the water. Now Semantic coming through too. OB's gonna be there waiting for him, but not got the DPS at range, and he avoids the swing as well. Beautiful from him, and Dre slots around the right.
Look at that, it's going so low, 9% here. FUT Esports making the commitment towards the end of the round. Semantic
अब एक और बार अगर वो आया तो भाई खत्म है इनकी सेफ खत्म
FUT Esports take game number 1. Great plays from them and Semantic. He chose his times.
मैंने कल वेट नापा 97 kg वाओ हाइट कितनी है भाई तेरी बता जरा आजकल शादी हो रही इनविटेशन नहीं आ रहे हैं हाँ तो पूरा शादी में खाने के लिए बुलाया जाता है स्टॉल कौन खाता है भाई स्टॉल के पूरा खा दिए उसमें बर्तन भी खाया जा रहा है तो कैसे बुलाएंगे
Takes a while to build that up, and once he's got it, he can get on that safe whenever he chooses. Lanar dives in, draws iChaos back again. Now Semantic once more is going to step forward. Some more of these posts getting put down. There's a bit of incidental damage from Ope on that safe here. Means Drage does need to address the issue of this Meg.
You know, Lenane going to go forward, try to get some damage on safe as well, but Yoshi cleaned up by Drage on that top side of the map. Now just playing the slow game yet again. Chaos going to come through, piggy bank on this wall and break it up. But Semantic about to set up one more post, and that should be able to get him to safe.
Gets it done. Ope though able to bring him down, help from beyond. Not going to be of much assistance here as pick a card. Almost gets rid of Lanar. One more shot will do it. The map is fully opened up now. That's a great situation for Ope and Chaos who have that range. Semantic, tough to catch, zigzagging his way over towards a safe. A couple shots on iChaos now, and he's headed back home. Oh, not quite. He'll still deal with iChaos though and secure a trade. Now Lanar wants to dive on in. FUT Esports are taking no prisoners.
So much damage coming through. OP trying to match on the other side, but with no mech, it's just not going to happen. Semantic needs to get in range of one of these posts now to be able to get forwards, or he's going to be stuck.
Here he goes.
He gets OP down on his way onto the safe 4K and add more as well.
Talk about value. And look at him running rings around Chaos. He gets another one. Semantic doing the dirty on his old team. Here is that Tara Super now. Ope once more knocked out of the mech.
And easy.
Are floundering. A paltry 4% remains. Semantic can hope to
finish the पोस्ट गलत लग गए सही लगाया मस्त उसने सुपर चार्ज किया वहीं मारा 4% बचे हैं भाई हो गया खत्म हो गया जी
Takes set number 1.
Choo-choo, baby. The chuck pays off.
Choo-choo.
Semantic knew it was an easy thing to get in there and find that extra 4% of damage. Now, I know you're not a huge fan of Meg, and fair enough. We can see now why she feels weak in some situations, because when she's out of Meg, it creates a massive window for Semantic to go in. He had an outsized impact on that round. Not only is he getting safe,
कबाब पराठा खाने जा रहा.
blowing people up
जा जा जा
almost
जा
by
जा.
accident.
Yeah, I mean, it was really nice. I think it was
97 किलो का
actually
103 किलो करके
on
आना.
one of those train tracks, absolutely obliterated by Semantic. And it's
मोटे भाई रुको भाई, चिल्लाओ मत. बच्चे डर जाते हैं, इतने जमजम से चिल्लाता है कि बच्चे डर जाते हैं, फिर खेल नहीं पाते हैं.
So ridiculous. Here's a replay of
मैं खाना लेके, वाह, खाइए खाइए.
That's kind of how he's doing it. He got out alive and then he rotates out with Drage. And they leave him behind as a constant threat and comes back in. That's so hard to deal with. What a comeback in that first match. I think that was really exciting. This, I think, was when the dirty work got done here. Semantic, so hard to catch, and finding that trade kill is huge.
I mean, I love the way he's set up here as well. One in that choke point, one in the mid choke point, and then coming through as well.
अरे अरे बस कर भाई, क्या हो गया? अरे 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 अरे.
But we love to see it.
भैया तो पगला ही गए, बोले अरे मैं जीता हूँ भाई, अरे मैं ही जीता हूँ भाई, कैसे जीत गया, लेकिन मैं जीता हूँ भाई.
SK side, right? You have that Meg, you have a lot of these brawlers that can really dish it out, but finishing the job against that hyper mobile Chuck is no easy thing. And a couple times, like the Bonnie just jumps in, Lena in the back corner said, okay, well, we're going to drag you back here. We're going to force you to answer this, to address this threat. Even with the Griff opening the map up, it's not as if that didn't benefit Foot Esports to some degree as well.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what I mean. You know, Chuck goes out, another brawler replaces it, and that's what Inso was touching on just before the game. That's what I said. You know, Bonnie jumping in, making room, and they just
आज कुछ ज़्यादा भीड़ है अभी तक.
doing so well in that game against
जो 1.5 घंटे पहले खत्म कर रहे हैं क्रेजी रकून की वजह से.
against the mechanics of Crazy Raccoon, but SK just can't match those same mechanics. So I think they're kind of reforming themselves.
SK need to take a sidebar here. It's been a long year for that franchise, and at many points there was the question of whether they would even be able to make it here. They have struggled. This rivalry has been something that has spurred them on, that has set that fire in their belly. I'm sure they were eagerly awaiting this kind of matchup, but with Crazy Raccoon so far ahead in this group, only one of these teams will be able to advance to tomorrow's play.
Well, pinhole punt in Brawl Ball draft should be coming up very, very shortly. We've seen both of these teams play against the might and the aggression of Crazy Raccoon and not able to stand up to it in Brawl Ball. Now they've got to play against each other and see if they have that same kind of energy.
Game खेलोगे आज? ना 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 ना.
Don't want to see any of those, couple of those hypercharges in there. And on the other side, the Lou, the Cordelias, and the Charlie. I mean, what are the...
अभी तो भाई विच फायर खेलने में मजा आता है. सुबह सुबह खेलता हूँ मैं, मजा आ जाता है. अपग्रेडिंग चल रही है. वो एक चीज है, कोई भी गेम खेलो जब तक उसमें वो फुलफिलमेंट नहीं आती ना, तो मजा आता है. एक बार वो सब चीज फुल कर लो कि 10 आउट ऑफ 10 हो गया, ये भी 10 आउट ऑफ 10 हो गया, कुछ नया नहीं है अब करने के लिए, तब वो गेम बोरिंग लगने लगता है. इसलिए मुझे स्टोरी मोड गेम पसंद है, क्योंकि जब उसमें 10 आउट ऑफ 10 हो जाता है तब वो स्टोरी खत्म हो चुकी होती है, और स्टोरी खत्म, गेम खत्म, दूसरा गेम. अभी विच फायर में 100 आउट ऑफ 10 हो रखा है, तो इसलिए 90% अभी चल रहा है, इसलिए मजा आता है. STMN फुट बैटर कौन है अभी पता चल जाएगा 4 गेम बाद, कौन बढ़िया है.
Sandy's available. That's an option, of course. A lot of bush already on this map, though, so perhaps... Ooh, Ems! One of the first times we've seen Ems make an appearance here.
Definitely been a bit of a while since I've seen that Ems come in, and it's not like Foot Esports have really got that many tanks so far. Yes, they're probably going to take one in order to deal with that Buster. Bit of a preemptive pick, I feel, from SK Gaming there. Maybe it's their best answer to, you know, something like a Rosa, something
देख
like
चपलेक्स भाई,
that can come in a bit later on.
तेरे काम की बात बता रहा हूँ. अगर ST वाले जीतेंगे तो याद है ST वर्सेस STMN का एक फ्रेंडली मैच हुआ था लास्ट में, तो एक लड़की आई थी खेलने, तो अगर ST जीतेगा तो वो लड़की वापस से आएगी खेलने, समझ रहा है. इसलिए सपोर्ट ST गेमिंग सपोर्ट करने का. उस लड़की का नाम क्या था जल्दी से बताने का.
Esports still have their last pick here, and they're going to go with the B. Something a bit more long range, something a bit more versatile, can deal with that Buster alone as well. Slowing value is really solid with that Brawler. But SK Gaming still have this last pick and still have a lot to account for, but they're going to go with the Maisie. Another hypercharged brawler coming in, and it's been showing its face so much throughout this weekend, and it really has been proving itself as well.
Yeah, we saw Lenar pilot it in that last set of the Crazy Raccoon series, and he was able to put a lot of work in with it. Obviously, ultimately, it didn't end up quite being enough. But here we have it, headed into set 2. It's brawl ball, pinhole punt, already Semantic barking orders down the line. I'm sure this FUT Esports team does not want to drop a single map to their perennial rivals as SK Gaming also fight to make it out of Group D.
A sweep would be the dream for FUT Esports, but that's no longer an option for SK Gaming. They're going to have to claw themselves back into this one. B starting things off strong with that Rattled Hive and a great connection onto the right, onto Chaos. Semantic versus OP in this left-hand side, going the way of Semantic so far, but Linane already dominating the right. That's why you're taking
and
GG's.
And
that's why FUT are ahead.
I mean, from the very beginning
Kya
of
baat.
that round, Chaos is struggling. B is getting shots into that Ems, and Chaos has no impact. Montage has to be used here. Unfriendly bushes also popped in response by Lenar to slow things down for SK Gaming. They've lost Drage here, and Lenar's also fallen. These guys are going at it hammer and tongs here. Semantic able to get the mute on Ope, but he just walk it in.
Yeah, not
Oshi, are.
Stroll that one straight into the goal, and the barricades from OP are doing so much. Lenane just playing it passive, not trying to be caught out by Chaos.
पुल भाई पता नहीं कहाँ से नाम ढूंढ के भी ले आए भाई.
Didn't get any value off it.
प्राण जाए पर लड़की ना जाए भाई.
Capitalize on that slower possible, but here comes Lenar. He's looking ferocious. Ope has to throw up the super. Drage at least picked off there. The Maisie got some value. Lenar considering walking it in here, but maybe
ओ बचा लिया भाई.
Charisma getting thrown down. Slows up Lenar. He wants to get into those goals, but he's brought down.
Yeah, could have almost got 2 there if he just came the tile further.
कैसे बच गए लोग?
More, and that's what's been given FUT these issues. Great slow onto Chaos there, and it actually connects with OP as well. Keeps him right there behind that wall, not allowing him to push any further. Hypercharge coming from Maisie now does get a few shots off, but now Lenane going into his super as well, tanking some damage. Ball in SK's pocket, so he can't really move it forward, and that's going to give FUT a chance to respawn and a chance to come back.
SK not in a position to capitalize over how that fight went here. Rattled Hive used by Drage, who's struggled a little bit now as Yoshi really looking to challenge the B's position. There's the shockwave. Yoshi able to cycle that one pretty comfortably. Pops a second. Lenar blown up from behind.
और योशी की बहन तो नहीं है ओशी. अरे भाई साहब अभी मैंने योशी नाम सुना तो याद आया भाई सच्ची में ऐसा तो नहीं है.
We saw the hypercharge come through from Rosa, was right at the end there, not getting the value required.
योशी की बहन ओशी.
And SK made adaptations after it went in.
क्या दिमाग पाया.
So much better after that one. I mean, we saw some moments from FUT Esports, but SK Gaming just seemed like the dominant force in that last one.
You mentioned unfriendly bushes got popped there by Lenar. Then the follow-up wasn't there. The B wasn't getting involved. Drage unable to have much impact here. They're trying to back now for our second round in this set. Ope getting pummeled as Drage comes alive.
Yeah, more of the same here. Lenane was ready to catch himself on that wall, but the stun available from Yoshi, not really wanting to feed him super. He gives him it, but he'll take the goal as a bit of a counter.
Yeah, look, Lenar stopped there for just a second, get 1 tick of health regen. Knew at 7k he would be able to walk it straight on in. Great fight there from FUT Esports. Great slow, and Drage capitalizes once more. Chaos by the wayside again.
Yeah, super veil from Lenane as well, just working on that hypercharge now. If he gets that in the goal mouth, that's going to be dangerous for SK Gaming. Now just keeping them back, pinning them in spawn, and the mute available from Semantic as well. But you don't really want to go anywhere near this Maisie. Rattle Hive coming down to try bring some of them quite low, but not finding anything just yet, and runs out. Now Lenane coming in with that super. Everything's going to have to be used to stop him here, and he's catching himself at a wall several times. Great defense from SK Gaming there, regardless of everything Lenane did.
Yeah, and they hold on to the shockwave here, but they're able to cycle it at least. Drage finds Yoshi. There might not be enough for FUT to be going on with now. Unfriendly bushes popped as soon as Lenar comes off spawn, and that's enough to catch it. Chaos. And I wanted to throw hands with Ope, but he respectfully backs up.
Yeah, wonderful communication from FUT there. Lenane knowing that he could help his team out by getting that hypercharge available as well. But Lenane choosing just to use that super as he knows he can dominate OP on it alone. Now, has that extra speed available. Yoshi's going to come in though, going to use it as well. Gets a few shots off, and the hypercharge shows its value, but Lenane's
रोसा ज़्यादा एग्रो खेल रही थी. अरे जाजा गोल हो सकता है.
Charisma slow, helping out Chaos there. Drage has to try and at least feign strength from this position to force SK back. Remember, FUT already have that goal in hand here. Yoshi able to use the gadget to get away from that shot from Semantic. Would have been a problem, and again Lenar falls to that super from the M's. Here come SK again, they're going forward. Shockwave should get the job done. Drage can only look on as the ball gets slotted.
35 seconds left then, 1-1. Overtime should be looming, but Drage definitely going to thrive heavily there, and SK Gaming are going to struggle. Now he's got that big shot available as well, going to use that forward. Zuleni looking for a super, needs a super here because the hypercharge is ready to roll. OP just sitting behind this wall here with his barricade, but what use is that if Lenane manages to get on top of him and gets going? Super there, hypercharge too, but knocked back, slow, everything coming out of SK Gaming, but it's just not enough. Chaos Slow trying to get it done, but the Drage is there. Brawl balls even.
That is the power of hypercharge. Semantic, we don't need to replace your tablet right now. Keep them hands away from it. He's feeling good about that one, and you can't blame him. In that first round, there wasn't enough time for the hypercharge to get built up. And we saw Foot struggle to bully their
बस कर भाई, बस कर, माइक से सही आवाज जाती है, तेरे को चिल्लाने की जरूरत नहीं है, बाजू में ही खड़ा बंदा भाई सुन लेगा.
The power of that Rosa is undeniable. We're jumping straight back in. It's one game apiece.
Rattle Hive showing his worth there as well. Drake getting some shots through, gets the slow as well, and he is amazing on this brawl. Almost makes it 3, but Yoshi survives. There's still a gap, but Chaos respawning just in time.
Love that. Iron Hive to set up the follow-up shot. He already had hit OP once, so he had an empowered one ready to go.
और पीछे खेल रहे हैं भाई ये लोग.
Well and truly in SK territory now as Foot want to poke them down. OP wants to create space with this montage here, but Drage has other ideas. Rattled Hive comes through, unfriendly bushes to slow Chaos and force him away.
Unfriendly bushes can be used quite well here. If OP doesn't really get out of this bush, he's going to choose to step out of it just in time. The name was ready to press that button, but now Super comes forward from Yoshi. Believe he connects with 2 there, slows both as well. Fat Splatter almost getting him down. And Chaos uses a super, but not too much value out of it on the left there. Drage trying to find some connections. Don't want Amazy up close in your goal, so needs to keep them back.
Semantic knew he had to give up his life there, but what for is the question. Caught in the middle of the map here, and this is looking a little scary now. A goal here would be massive, but the ball is slotted comfortably in Foot Esports territory. Drage, though, he will go down. There is no escape from that caustic charisma. 2 players up here for Foot to defend. The montage could be an issue.
अरे भाई 2 जगह से कुटाई हुई है उसकी.
And they will not be denied. Burn a little bit of clock and get that ball in the net.
Chaos just in time as well as the ball goes in. His super ticks up, and that's 3 to their name. OP going to be able to use his shield early on, get Chaos into a bit more of a favorable position. Rattled Hive was bouncing off that barrier as well, and Lenane pushing forwards. Drage connecting some great shots. Semantic pitch in the left-hand side.
Hypercharge available.
Ready to go now. Super shot available too. The mute's there. Surely something's got to happen.
Yoshi muted, he's in trouble, here comes Lana, and he's hungry! That's 2 for the Rosa now, and Chaos will be moved aside. Foot Esports, take your breath and make it an even game.
30 seconds on the clock. Foot Esports are definitely going to be ready to head into overtime here. The B, the Otis gonna dominate.
ओल्डी भाई ने वाईटी क्विट नहीं किया तो पक्का मिलूंगा आपसे.
Connects to Lenane going forwards, but the super from Chaos chooses to hold his out.
Is that going to be enough? Lana doesn't seem too bothered by it right now. Yoshi uses hypercharge for nothing at the start of this kickoff, and here he comes. Lana again finds the 1 kill. He's so tanky. Ope can only look on from behind the montage, and now it's Yoshi. As time runs out, he will fall, and Foot Esports will get the job done.
Only just the risky pass to the right. I thought he was slotting that straight in the
GG's.
left.
Dangerously or not at all, baby.
Exactly.
ये अब पक्का होते जा रहा है कि आप ओशी से नहीं मिल पाएंगे. Oh shit, man. Oh shit.
For just a moment. This is definitely the kind of series, although it's been short so far, that is gonna sap your energy. Semantic, though, is too busy making eyes at the crowd.
Yeah, आप लखनऊ आ जाओ.
Screen here,
ऐसा क्या?
on that Rosa. He's locked in.
Yeah, well, that man can pick his moment well, and every time he did, clicked that hypercharge. Everybody on the side of SK went down, and a goal was scored. Really, the main man, but I can't really just glaze over the fact that Drage played that B so well. It really was phenomenal. And I mean, this is literally the brawler he's known for, so you expect it. But still, watching him play it, it's just a treat.
No, I won't tell him you said nice things about him, okay?
Yeah, no,
I don't want to make you an easy target for him, okay? But yeah, stunning stuff. And really, yeah, again, getting a ton of information, of course, via that Iron Hive means it's easy to land those shots. Tough break for Ope here. Let's talk about the draft really quick. Does these M's really pay off in the end?
I mean, I feel like for the most part it did a good job, but when the Rosa gets in these offensive positions, the knockback just doesn't seem worth it. He always catches himself on a wall, and a player like Linane knows how to play against that Ems.
Stunning work here, and as the overtime came down, it was basically over. Drace though, yeah, another second inside that gas cloud.
अरे भास्कर भाई क्या चिल्ला चिल्ला के भाई कान फाड़ दिए भाई लोगों के.
Looks like he's feeling pretty good right now, still soaking it in. And why wouldn't you? SK Gaming now definitely in the doldrums. They have been unable to win a set so far here at World Finals.
Yeah, look at that, 11 kills to Drage's name. OP sitting there on 1, the singular kill for OP and
ये तू मेरे को टारगेट करके बोला ना.
It's just not the performance you expect in a World Finals caliber team.
Yeah, SK Gaming they need more. The composition was pretty
मतलब
powerful.
आप एग्री करते हैं कि आप बजते हैं.
They also had the Maisie, of course, to play with the Buster. Maybe a questionable
Buster
choice getting picked first, no less. But we digress. As we head over to Hot Zone now, it's now or never for SK Gaming.
Now or never.
The blue band right now because it's going to be gone. If that slips through, I feel bad for the team playing against it because that is a very, very solid brawl. A single hot
stage na
puts it even further in the meta.
Ton of options though. We've seen Bell on this map. Of course, the spike occasionally. Mr. P has been used here already. Tara to some degree. Lou banned out. Yep, Bell banned out. No surprises there. Lola also taken away. Yeah, no one wants to deal with that Rosa anymore. 8-bit though will be the selection. Very sturdy, very high damage selection for Yoshi.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams have been looking towards the PAM, looking towards the Carl, and I think that was, mainly STMN and Zeta division earlier on in the day, and that Carl play that Gero did, it's made me feel like that brawler is just, it should just be a staple here because
मेरे को स्टेज बोल रहा है अब. हाँ भाई, सिर्फ 97 kg का स्टेज है.
If you're going to take Colette, I feel like you've got to kind of bring it along with it because it's just such a good counter to that.
1 ton का तो होना चाहिए.
And already you're looking at a 10,000 HP brawler in 8-bit, right? So even if there's no true tanks selected by SK Gaming, you can get value there. I also think that the hypercharge for Colette definitely makes it feel much better, even if you don't see a fully tanky comp on the other side of things. The flexibility for Eve to go where she needs to, especially just put pressure on single-shot brawlers with that super, is also a powerful option. Buster again, we picked up here for SK.
I mean,
2 tanks into Colette. Okay.
That's what I was thinking as well. Into Colette, not the easiest of matchups. At least the Rosa's banned out this time as that kind of saving grace for SK Gaming playing that Buster. Definitely makes it that little bit easier. There's still a lot of brawlers that can do a good enough job against it. But I kind of feel like Foot Esports still searching for a mid here that can play into this 8-bit, and whether or not you kind of just go something quite
चलो भाई जीत के खत्म करो यार, इतना क्या टेंशन कर लेने का. नहीं मिल पाएंगे ओशी से कोई बात नहीं. Penny?
SK is on another planet.
I haven't seen Penny in like a solid maybe 5 months in competitive, to be honest with you.
बड़ी ही Penny बात करी है इन लोगों ने.
Into those babies coming through, spawning in. It can really do some damage if you stand behind them.
थोड़ा लंबा चलाओ भाई, खाना खत्म नहीं हुआ अभी. आ रहा.
Penny, a ton of fun, and of course, and that persistent pressure as well, and she's able to deploy super in a safe place. Obviously, no throwers on the side of Foot Esports, so getting rid of
हाँ बेटे तू गया, तेरी शादी में पंडित से बोलूं गलत मंत्र बोलो.
Instead, it's going to be Bali.
Bali though, like bring a throw in to deal with the Penny, of course, but Bali on this map I feel like is such a wild pick as well.
Comps are bizarre, Trav.
Yeah, no, I'm really not sure. I mean, imagine Colette's going to be playing through that mid against that 8-bit. It's going to have a bit of a tough time once that speed starts coming through thanks to the super. But at the same time, it is a very good matchup, and especially against that Buster too.
Penny's still a powerful option, right? She's very effective at range, of course, firing into chokes. But if they close the gap on you as Penny, you can throw that salty barrel down and still benefit from your shots splitting up. Here we go, SK Gaming. It better hope this draft keeps them alive in a series, because it is, as I said, now or never, as Anar confidently steps forward here to take some early percentage.
Getting the first glimpses of percentage here, and a nice heal coming through from Drage early on with that healing tonic. Gotcha Gadget was used by Linane, but didn't find any connection, so good job, Drage helped him out. Going to be see these spawners coming in. Different star power than usual from Semantic. Going to see these babies spawning in if he hits that final egg. And Chaos pushes maybe too aggressive and falls low.
Lenar getting some great shots here on Ope, who needs to take a sidebar now as the damage amplifier has been deployed. Another healing tonic now just to let Lenar hang around for a little bit longer.
कर क्या रहे हैं? इतना लॉन्ग रेंजर लेने का फायदा क्या जब वहां पर खड़े ही नहीं हो पा रहे?
For the time being, Drage is being liberal with those heals.
I mean, SK, where are you? 50%, it's a mid versus mid fight, and then not stepping foot on the zone, not even a toe on it.
चलो भाई योशी को नाम ले लिया इसने, बोले ना ना चाहे कुछ हो जाए मैं नहीं बुलाऊंगा उसको, बुलाना ही नहीं चाहते हैं भाई, दिख गया समझ गया मैं, प्लानिंग है भाई प्लानिंग है।
They step up to the point now for the time being, but Yoshi does not want to hang around inside that last.
पीछे भाग गया।
Comes forward, hypercharge at the ready. Ope still fancies a bit of a fight though. Is going to be able to draw him in there with that slow-mo replay.
अबे 16% तो बचा है गिनती का, और पैनी तो ऐसी पैनी है भाई, उसका अभी तक सुपर ही चार्ज नहीं हो पाया है।
How long's that damage amp going to last when you've got that Eve, that Colette being able to get some shots through, and the Super should come in shortly as well, gets through them. Gotcha Gadget got to be following in shortly, but don't think there's any left. Super brings him down, and this is getting close now as SK start to claw it back. 20% behind, but still, it's a possibility.
They wait out the healing tonic to some degree. Now there's none of that available here for Foot Esports. Lenar with the time to collect, though, was able to at least take Ope down. There's going to be hatchlings on the scene in just a moment. Another Colette Super to find Yoshi. Hypercharge pop. Lenar wants to go in, but he's a little bit too low. It's 94% for SK Gaming at some point. Foot Esports are going to have this one wrapped up. SK have got to get in there, and so they do. They wipe Foot off the map, and now they have control.
Rage coming back in, but it's him against the world here. Nothing going to happen.
चलो भाई ओशी का नाम लिया, जाग गए भाई।
Penny's always going to come out on top.
Devastating there for Semantic as that super shot from Penny's Tara comes in and flattens him just when they needed him in the fight. What patience from SK Gaming. We were questioning their strategy at the start of that round. They really stayed back off the point, poking down, forcing Draze to part with those gadget charges.
You can't blame him for it as well. Same for Lenane too. Uses these gotcha gadgets, but he needs to hit whilst doing it too to get the heals back, and he's doing a good job of it now, pushing them all the way back to the spawn. And this looks like an even better start for Foot.
Playing out similarly in that sense though to last time. Ope building up that super, of course, now creates that space. Yoshi steps up. They really want to get as much incremental percentage behind those supers as they can. Another heal has to be popped here, but Semantic gets the better of Ope. Now without your Buster, you could be in trouble. They're not happy to expend a super on getting rid of the damage amp.
Yeah, so without your Buster, you're in trouble. Without your turret, you're dead. That's the thing, so he's going down.
Oh man.
Lenane going to come back as well, but the splash not going to be there as Penny not in the mix. Buster going to be deal with him quite quickly. Last call straight down the mid. More of the same from last game, but Foot Esports want a different result this time.
Yoshi has the range, though he's able to play from behind that last call and get at least some damage to force Draze back again. Chaos always threatening from the right-hand side, but has been quiet for much of these rounds. Here's the hypercharge for Lenar is going in. My good, the damage is real. It'll be a trade in the end now as the hatchling's coming in and Yoshi's going to get left upon. Tough gig for him. Cheat cartridge gets him out, but the hatchlings, they come for him.
And no turret as well as Drake quickly sweeps that more spawn.
92.
Everything's going down. 93 now as we get closer to a Foot Esports match point. Last call. And Foot Esports match point.
Mere inches away from victory are Foot Esports.
Match point.
Is keeping that energy high. That was how they wanted to start. This time, Foot Esports never take their foot off the gas.
SK, something needs to happen. I mean, they're one game away from staying alive. It can't be that bad. But Foot Esports have been looking good throughout this entire set. Different strategy, though, as now we take lanes for the side of SK.
Now, Ope really extending now, of course. Going with the Buster to the right-hand side. Tries to draw Draze in with that gadget here as Yoshi now trying to hold mid on his own. That's a big order. And it'll be forced away by the last call.
Yeah, healing now is Foot Esports and Semantic. Gonna have these babies coming, gives them a bit more time to heal up. The splash through does connect with Lenane. Chaos low once more, but Super coming out of him now and almost goes down upon return. But Ope not having the best of times. Now bouncing back some shots. Semantic, but the heals are there as well.
Yeah, a lot of zoning going on here by Yoshi. Ope now pushing into the bushes. He's swapping between those lanes, trying to keep Lenar as quiet as possible. He'll have to back away now. They can play from within that zone until Semantic removes the damage amp. 27 plays 34. SK behind, but definitely within striking distance.
Yeah, Lenane surely going down there. Little auto-aim there from Chaos to bring him to his knees. Close game, this one. Much closer than the games before, but Semantic getting some great shots onto Yoshi here. Actually wanting the turret over the kill. Now Super from Lenane. Pull back from Ope. No escape, but Gotcha Gadget keeps him in it anyway.
Yeah, that durability from time to collect that star power is very important. Lenar's able to stay in it, and now Foot Esports are threatening to get into the lead. Chaos forced away from the left-hand side by Draze, who really collapsed towards mid. And now Foot have the lead.
Well, only narrowly as SK start to push back. Little lane swap, but all three of them in a spot here. Do not want to get hit by any shots. Now Gotcha being used. Lenane's going to use the super forwards, but actually got pulled in and stopped him from using it. Chaos cleans up around the right side, and now this is an SK game to win.
Yeah, it's back and forth as the pendulum swings, and SK gain them, find themselves with a lead. First order of business, get rid of the damage amp. Lenar does so. Yoshi, though, still hits hard without that super. Will throw yet another one down, and Lenar goes in straight away. Chaos, though, loses his turret, but gets the kill. 96 and counting here. SK Gaming, they've got themselves in the game.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Long road ahead of them, but they've started walking at least. Now getting closer and closer to Foot. They looked so confident for the first couple of games, but SK, they're clawing the way back. They're starting to make moves, and they really needed to.
We thought the draft was kind of sussy from both sides, if I'm honest with you.
अरे भाई ये पूरा वो लेके आए हैं भाई साहब.
Weren't sure exactly about the weird setup that Foot came
कि
in
कौन
with
से
here.
गेम मैप में कौन सा वाला ब्रॉलर सही है.
That healing, the sustainability between the Gotcha Gadget and
पूरा
the healing
चार्ट
tonic.
लेके आए
They've been
भाई.
around on that point for quite some time. But once those expire, that's when they're most vulnerable. And they had problems dealing with that 8-bit.
Yeah, I mean, it really was quite difficult. Don't feel like we saw the value out of Lenane as we did in that second game in the third. It just didn't seem the same. And SK, they definitely took a bit of a different approach. Off the start, not triple mid. They didn't want to go for that anymore. They started playing down those lanes, busted down the right, Penny down the left, and that 8-bit through the mid. And it did start to work better off the start. And then from there, they just got some wins and Buster. You know, he chose his moments to use those gadgets really nicely. When Lenane wanted to do something, he shut it out.
Yeah, and I mean, we actually saw the Buster switch to the left lane after that as well. So Ope, I think, identifying, I need to be him right now. I need to push up on these sides of the map and make sure that someone like Drage or Lenar, for example, cannot get comfortable and just sit and fire shot after shot into our backside as we try and contest the point. Really impressed with this. I don't know if I really see the value proposition still of that Penny, but the execution with that, you know, slightly off-the-wall composition from SK Gaming, it can't be
नहीं है
done,
भाई, नहीं है, नहीं
especially in
है.
the face of this.
छी चपलेक्स भाई रहने दो तुम्हारे पास में नहीं है.
With those eliminations, you think they would have run away with this, but that was not the case. Finally, SK Gaming get on the board in this grudge match.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, in Hot Zone, it's one of those game modes where, you know, kills and DPS usually do mean a lot more than other ones, because if you're getting the kills, you should be standing on the zone, and that's the thing, you should have the control. But for Esports, after that first game, when they started to be, you know, kind of dominated by SK Gaming, they didn't seem to have that same kind of, you know, I'll just go on the zone, even if it's for just a couple of %, they just needed that full control to do it, and I think that was maybe a little bit of an issue.
We're headed over to Knockout next, folks. It'll be out in the open. Expect to see many of those sharpshooters heavily contested. Curious to see how it plays out here. Big turnout for SK Gaming, of course. Massive fan base. I'm sure they're getting loud right now, seeing them finally get themselves into this game. Let's talk bans here. Gene, of course, taken away here. Meg RT banned out. And then Piper and Nani. SK don't want to deal with sharpshooters at all.
Well, Eve returning once more for Foot Esports, going to use that same brawler once again. And obviously on this map, levitating over that left-hand side on the water, it's a really big helping hand. And just getting yourself into a good position without having to wall break, without having to do anything. You know, if you don't want to take Brock, if you don't want to take a wall break, if you don't want to take Carl, then Eve's the answer.
Yeah, just go around. You can kind of get a feeling for what Foot are looking for, getting Gene out of the picture here. Obviously, a potentially very powerful tank counter to draw them in. It also means that anyone with Gene can kind of just bide their time, work that super into play, and then cause problems. Okay, Brock picked up here. So SK take a lot of the long-range brawlers away and snatch themselves up one for themselves. But in this day and age of modern Brawl Stars, you can't ban every sniper. It's not possible here. So Foot Esports do have those options.
Well, I mean, Brock going to be able to even the playing field. Eve can levitate over that water, but SK can now just break up and walk straight through anyway. 8-bit on this map, I feel that's a very, very NA approach to something like this. Now, you know, 8-bit is...
is that in the derogatory sense?
I don't know at this point. I'll see how it plays out, because I genuinely don't really know it's something that can, you know, really thrive on a map like this. Yes, well, we've seen it work on Shooting Star and stuff like that, which is a very open map, similar to this.
अरे बता दिया भाई, नहीं हो पाएगा तुमसे. छोड़ दो. Hello legend underscore player 001.
We may not even see that being the gadget of choice here for Yoshiva. Oh, who let Lou do? Oh dear. Drake is salivating at the prospect of bringing Lou into the fold here. And that's definitely something SK are going to have to be wary of.
It really is, and especially with something like an 8-bit. You know, if you don't have that turret to TP back to, then you're going to be caught out in that hypercharge. I mean, yes, it's going to be difficult to get the hypercharge across, you know, sometimes only 2 rounds. But if it goes to that 3rd and he's getting some good connections, then he should be able to grasp it.
Mandy, okay, the sharpshooters, like I mentioned, there is a deep roster of them here. Foot Esports were maybe watching what STMN were up to. We're like, hey, we can do that too.
I do like the Mandy here. I think it's pretty solid. And, you know, there's only a few points where you can walk through. And usually, you know, if you're breaking, you're walking through that wall. If you've got a Mandy super, just beam it down from spawn and hope for the best.
I mean, realistically, SK don't have any hard engage at all. So it's pretty hard to put pressure on that Mandy. She might just be able to stand around at times. I will say that the Brock, obviously, the incendiary fields make it kind of hard to, you need to keep moving. The Sprout coming out now from SK Gaming can definitely lock up some parts of this map if you're able to push forward and trap your opponents on their side of the map.
I mean, I don't know why, but I feel like the drafts are just so weird between these two teams. It's like...
Isn't this a classic Chaos Brawler, though?
Yeah, I know he does play the Sprout incredibly, but I just feel like there's certain brawlers that we just haven't seen in a while on these kind of maps that are being brought back. And yes, they're not bad brawlers on the maps, but it just seems a bit of a rogue pick.
Yeah, okay. Well, we are packed to capacity here at DreamHack. Everyone turning up to see how this grudge match goes. Make some noise, DreamHack, as we head now to knockout.
Well, SK Gaming starting off with that wall break and
oh भाई बहुत लो है.
taking over this water. And then just trying to use this range advantage. As Chaos pushing forwards, going to be able to block off some of these choke points at some point, and the rocket fuel from OP gets a great connection.
Yeah, not looking to break the wall on the right-hand side. Much of it unbreakable now on the left anyway. Lenar finds Ope, though. The value is getting accrued. Lenar standing still here, knowing that Chaos needs to move quickly. But from behind the wall, Drage gets plucked out there. Lenar can obviously stand inside this loot super. And he's going for it now in a 1 versus 2. He's in deep trouble.
I mean, they managed to get the win, but I'm not sure about that. It was a 2v3 at some point in favor of Foot Esports, and they still managed to get down to a 1v2 in favor of SK Gaming. Now Chaos has this wall as well, should be able to block off this pathway through for Semantic and dominate the other sides. Does actually not really manage to get it done, but that's one choke point that he's going to be able to push through, but looks like he might be waiting it out.
Yeah, that hedge did not stop Semantic here. He's able to push through it pretty well, so Chaos transplants it away. Now to the left-hand side, Drage will have his sight line compromised. And Semantic will struggle to push up against the 8-bit who's swapped over to the right.
And then taking a few shots to the face, same with Drage as well. Chaos going to transplant it once again, throw it back down and stop Mandy from moving. Now one pathway through, and they're going to have to start moving soon as the gas should start creeping in. Semantic trying to make the play, but has to use a jump to dodge that rocket fuel coming in from OP.
Sprout is creating artificial 3v2s at times here by cutting off at least one sight line for Foot Esports. At some point, they're going to have to think about it, but they've lost Drage here. The Lou is off the map. And now has that super.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit, man! Oh shit!
And the gas starts to encroach.
I mean, down they go. It's a 1v2. Semantic cannot get the job done. SK Gaming take it, and now one game away from even in the score.
Starting to see the proof of concept for the Sprout on this map. You have 3 holes to poke through when you have the Eve on your side. And constantly Chaos is shutting down one of them, meaning artificially a player advantage is being created as one of those Foot Esports players has to sit there and wait for the hedge to disappear.
Well, wall break instantly again, rocket fuel from OP. Lenane standing still, just trying to get that extended range and obviously being so useful. Rocket fuel to now break some of that.
भाई स्नैपलेक्स तू एक काम कर, तू ये लिख एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क लव मोटापा, फिर देखते हैं तुम अपने मोटापे से कितना प्यार करते हो, हमको जानना है.
Finally, Foot have a player advantage to work with again.
For the first time in pretty much forever in this set. Semantic going to have to jump away now and obviously landing on that water, able to get out. But this 3v2, it might be short-lived if Chaos can find some good shots here.
हो गया ना भाई, चलो फुट जीतो, चलो बहुत हुआ. हो गया भाई, अब तो एसके आ रही है. ओसी को देखने के लिए लोग बेकरार हैं, आ रहे हैं इन द कार.
But less firepower now as Yoshi is dancing. Drage descends. Lenar looking for Chaos now to get the job done. He bounces a space carrot off the wall. Well, that's all he can bring.
Yeah, well, he wanted the gas coming a bit sooner, but Drage got it super anyway. Now we actually have that turret from Yoshi as well. Managed to work for that, but Linane has this Mandy Super, and that can be dangerous. Out it goes, finds Chaos, but not getting the kill. Baby's coming in for the first time in a while from Semantic as well, and Chaos just not being hit by them. OP deals with them quite swiftly, but this Lu Super can be dangerous.
And now hoping to get rid of that turret, I think, but it's going to be almost impossible to get rid of the damage amp now with where it's placed. And are those stats still focused up here? Drage creates the space in order for Lenar to play more statically on that left-hand side. Here's a hedge to cut off some of this sightline. Chaos moves up behind it.
Yeah, Semantic finds some great shots onto OP. No jump out with the rocket laces as he's got the rocket fuel gadget. Chaos now trying to find Semantic, but he's having to run away, running for his life.
He got what he came for, though. That's a huge elimination now. And Foot look to try and even up the set. Lenar goes for the super. No connection. Hoping maybe Chaos moved back into it, but Drage couldn't force him southward on the map. Semantic, though, returns to the fray. Yoshi Low has to use the cheat card.
भाई साहब बहुत ही तगड़ा मैच चलते हुए.
Eventually, he must succumb, and Chaos is a popsicle.
Linane survived for so long there and kept Foot Esports in that.
Still match point.
Control is lost. The left-hand side would have fell.
Match point, match point, match point.
But now, match point for Foot Esports.
Crucially, SK Gaming still have the possibility of embarking upon this reverse sweep attempt, but they've got to be frustrated being unable to clean up the set there. It all comes down to this game.
Well, similar start to the rest as OP breaks up the rest of what is really trying to go. Oh, Linane gets 3 tapped by Linane. Beautiful from him. And say goodbye to Semantic too. SK reverting to their former glory.
Standing tall as match point comes, SK refusing to buckle under the pressure. This is a formality for Drage here. He hopes to create an opportunity, but all he does is become fodder.
Well, Super was claimed by Yoshi there as well. Turret's going to be a huge, huge thing for him. And out of reach of Linane here as well. And those walls were broken in the last one, but not in this one. Rocket Fuel not finding anything here either. And Drage just returning to this mid. Wall comes down and Chaos, as you say, makes it pretty much a 3v2.
No, I mean, there's nothing Luke can do here. He just waits. He doesn't want to group up and end up, getting splashed by those Brock rockets here, so he has no choice but to sit around. Then hopes to try and get somewhere here, but Foot are completely shut down by this Sprout pick right now. And that means Chaos could start to move up behind the hedge.
बातचीत है भाई, डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन टूट गया. अरे खुद का टावर लगवा दो, मैं बोल रही हूँ. बच कैसे गया? And 2-2 हो चुका है. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, man, oh shit.
An instant classic here between SK Gaming and Foot Esports. And now there are 2 options. Foot Esports hold off a resurgent SK Gaming, or they suffer a reverse sweep at the hands of their most dire of rivals.
SK take that one.
रिवर्स स्वीप चिल्ला रहा भाई कोई. रिवर्स स्वीप चिल्ला रहा ऑडियंस में कोई.
These two teams, and this set will be the accumulation of all the games they've played each other.
अरे वो मोटे अंकल कहाँ गए? उनका थोबड़ा तो दिखा दो थोड़ा.
But this is the important one.
Not just the games, every word between these two teams, every decision that's affected these players, like Semantic being dropped.
अरे भाई तू मोटापा तो लिख, मोटापा तो देखने दे भाई.
They knew they had a score to settle when they came here today. And with both teams falling to Crazy Raccoon, it really set the stage for an absolute blockbuster. What a way to close out the day. Semantic getting frustrated. This is the double-edged sword.
Roll it, bhai, roll it.
Emotional player. When things are going good, yeah, you're hyped up. When they're bad, you can get frustrated. You can get snappy. Foot need to get it together here.
इतना चिल्लाता बच्चे डर जाते हैं.
OP has had a point to prove throughout this year after he departed from that Foot Esports roster earlier on. This might be the time to make that point to his former teammates and Semantic to do the exact same thing. Kill-wise, yeah, it's knockout. The team with more kills is going to be able to take the wins. 6-3-5 for SK Gaming, 2-4-2 for the side of Foot.
And again, at all times, at least one of these Foot players literally has nothing to shoot at. They're stuck behind a hedge, having to wait for it to dissipate. Extremely frustrating indeed, but there's no way to get around it. They don't have environmental, they don't wall break, they have none of that. Semantic's often forced to jump backwards on their right-hand side, getting pressured down. We're going to double swoosh with the decider. That is picante.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this map, and I'm a big fan of this one being the decider between these two teams. Double swoosh in Gem Grab is going to be a huge, huge set for both of these teams. One of them will be going out today, and one of them will be progressing for the chance to become the world champion.
So much rests upon this draft. They've been pretty tough for us to read so far, with some definitely rogue picks, as you put it, Trav. But one thing's for sure, both these teams have had the right idea at differing moments throughout this series.
ओके आंटी ओके समझ गए ओशी को दिखा देते हैं अब मजा आ जाता
to reach fever pitch.
Well, should be getting to the draft shortly as we start now. Sandy, Shelly and Rosa are SK's bans. For Esports, no surprises here. Sandy, Lou and Charlie all banned out as SK are going to have the first pick.
And no one wants to take the risk of getting randomly stunned by a Sandy hiding in the bushes. And I mean, that sandstorm covering the parts of the map that aren't already vegetated. Not something you want to deal with, but vision is key. Tara picked up that Psychic Enhancer to give the information of who's lying in wait in those bushes. SK Gaming value that most of all.
Well, foot for the next two picks, but I do like that Tara. Whether you use the Psychic Enhancer or whether you use the support from beyond, both absolutely viable on a map like Double Swoosh. So many bushes, so much vision needed. But the vision gear definitely helps out with that more nowadays. And FUT Esports have got to find themselves a good answer, whether they want to try and take a mid early on, one of the better mids, or try play down some of these lanes. They're going to take the Nita. I don't mind it. I really do like that bear coming in. It can surprise quite a few people on a map like this.
Again, having another body that can really put pressure down that does an absolutely non-negligible amount of damage. It might be a Lenar pick here, of course, as the tank aficionado, the Grey. Oh, we are piling into those dimensional doors, Trav.
And I like it as well. Whether you're picking up a kill, whether you're trying to get away with some gems, Grey can make that happen. SK Gaming back for two picks, and then FUT will have that decisive one. The final, last pick of the group stage of the second day of the Brawl Stars World Finals. SK Gaming need a mid. They're going to need another lane along with it as well. Tanks might not be an option with Nita coming in, but Gale is going to be their first pick.
Love that. You get a disengage option there when, you know, you see FUT Esports running at you through that dimensional door, and Jackie as well.
Jackie.
Tend to covet themselves, but this gives you so many options. You've got great durability up close and personal. That crowd control that Jackie can offer is also nothing to sniff at. I like this a lot. Coach Pedro be cooking back there. And now FUT Esports need to figure out how to answer this. Range is definitely an issue for SK Gaming's roster, but this is Double Swoosh. Less of a concern than other more open maps.
And Rosa taken off the table. Oh, Cordelia is going to be the pick from FUT Esports. If you need to deal with a tank, that is the man to do it. Rosa was obviously taken off the table by SK Gaming, possibly even expecting to take that Jackie as their last pick and not allowing FUT Esports to have that counter. Cordelius comes in to round out FUT's picks.
Well, there you have it. It all ends here. SK Gaming, FUT Esports, one more time into the breach. This time, it's for all the marbles. Pedro trying to up the energy here as well. Deadly focus on the faces of SK Gaming. FUT Esports also have their heads down now. Let's get it on. It's time for Double Swoosh.
Double right-hand side from FUT Esports, trying to surprise them. Instant walking cane and a bit of wall break, and a bit of grass break, I should say, there on OP. Just waiting it out, trying to find someone in these bushes. Semantic's the first to be hit, and it is Psychic Enhancer.
All of FUT now revealed to SK Gaming, and Chaos might see an opportunity here. Drange, obviously not the most durable of brawlers, so dimensional doors away. Lenar, of course, with that shield gear looking pretty durable himself now. Walking cane opens up some more of that map on the left-hand side. So far, Semantic is kept pretty quiet. Couple connections on Yoshi, another Psychic Enhancer now. As Chaos wants to capitalize, he's going forward, but Lenar drags him to the underworld.
Yeah, Drake's going to find that kill as well. Lene not going to be able to do much in this realm as Chaos does bring him down. Semantic having a tough time on the right-hand side against Yoshi as well. But with Drake having these 7 gems, it gives them that buffer. Semantic should pick that up with the counter crush, gets the trade.
Lenar here getting punished by much of this damage from Ope, but he's so low, Lenar just needs the one shot. Onto Yoshi, drags him in the Shadow Realm here, but snaps up a couple of those extra gems. Ope falls, he drops 2 behind him. This is dangerous for SK Gaming now.
A lot of that ammo wasted on the bear as well, and up comes the gem.
My SK Gaming.
From the spawner. SK need to push. They've got time, 10 seconds on the clock, and now they're coming forward.
Drage sitting in the back with plenty of gems to work with. Semantic tries to make the cheeky play. The dimensional door's up. Drage can get out if he needs to. He's slowed. The gems are spilled. And the countdown is reset, but SK can't hang around. They've got other fish to fry. Semantic will be dealt with now as they stand in the middle of the map.
They needed one and Chaos doubted himself. OP coming forwards, wants another pull, but the bear TP straight in and the stun's doing nothing so far. Chaos needs to make a push, 6 seconds, Lenane has all the gems. Now he comes in, the pull, but he gets the jump. Bear on them, but SK have all the gems now.
भाई ले गए, पूरा जैम उठा के ले गए। ये तो लुट गया, बर्बाद हो गया।
Gets brought down by Lena. Here's the gravity. Hold straight in place. 5 seconds left now. Gems drop, but Yoshi has 10. He's trying to dodge these shots. 1 second. And Yoshi's
ओ बच गया, बच गया, बच गया, बच गया, बच गया, बच गया। ओ शिट, ओ शिट, ओ शिट, ओ शिट। ये।
About to be reverse swept.
unbelievable scenes here. A quiet and calm SK Gaming shrug off those first 2 sets and they get it together. What a conclusion. Now it's on the line. Foot Esports staring down a match point from SK.
Well, a slow start from both teams once more. Walking Kane's not going to be finding OP this time. The grass remains up in that mid. Nita going to be focusing a lot more on this Jackie this time, but he finds the early kill. Chaos takes the lead for SK.
Yoshi also running rings around Lenar there. Trace was at least able to get out with 2 gems, but SK have that slight lead. Semantic just able to get outside that. Jackie Super staying alive for now. Gale Force comes in, but Semantic, the bear, claims Chaos.
Well, Yoshi almost going down now. Realm is the 1v1 versus Yoshi here. Drage claiming some gems. OP around this left-hand side. Not really a lot from that, but Lenane stopped himself from going down at least.
Psychic Enhancer once more. Spots Drage and Semantic as usual in his ancestral position on the right-hand side. Chaos wins out again, but must trade once more. Semantic forced away. Looking threatening as Yoshi did not want to deal with the bear. And OP returns with those 5 gems in hand. It's an even game.
Well, TP's there as well. The pull in from Chaos tries to get OP in the realm, but goes down before the connection is made. Pull there, but the TP from Drage is available too. Still set up in case that pull comes forward. They do have the lead, and it's still match point.
Chaos has been so good on this left.
भाई साहब बहुत ही शानदार मैच चलते होता है।
This could go badly for Foot. The Nita pick maybe not working out. The bear deployed gets slapped on in, and SK Gaming flattened 2 players from Foot. Again, Drage can't get involved.
Lenane trying to find the realm. He needs a 1v1 with OP here to be able to bring this back, but now has a gem. Finding the realm onto him. Can he win this 1v1? All of SK circle him to pick up these gems that are going to be dropped. Hypercharge there. Yoshi claims them all, and Chaos gets the kill. Countdown starts, but Foot take the gems back and even it out.
Yoshi able to get back. This is not the ideal gem carrier for you, though. Gale is short range, can't really get involved at these fights at longer distances. Gravity pop, no connection from OP, but Semantic's gonna fall down here. Gem still in the hands of SK Gaming. Shadow Realm for Chaos. That wasn't who Lenar wanted. He needs to get closer to Yoshi.
GG! Reverse! Street! चिल्लाओ अंकल चिल्लाओ 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 ना अंकल बहुत चिल्लाते हो।
Goodbye to Foot Esports, and SK will be seeing
अंकल बहुत ही भौंकते हैं भाई, बहुत ही भौंकते हैं, कान फाड़ते हैं बिल्कुल। ये स्नैपलैक्स और ये कॉपी हैं, करते इतना सा चिल्लाते इतना है कि भाई साहब पूरा पगला ही जाएंगे।
They tried Jetton as well. They brought Ope over from Foot Esports. They failed to have success midway through the season. They get taunted by Foot Esports. Have fun at LCQ.
Uno reverts by SK.
Well, SK did just that. They used it as experience, as practice, and for fuel to come back here to finally have the last laugh.
The reverse sweep completed. SK Gaming feeling good about that sweet, sweet revenge. Drage's words.
हम ओशी के भाई योशी को वोट करेंगे इसके लिए। ऑर्डर की ग्राफ मार लीग स्टेज पे खुले हम तो हर साल कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा ही मूवमेंट होता है जो उस वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स याद दिलाता है। ये वही वाला मूवमेंट था कि जहाँ पे कुत्ता भौंकता रहता और हाथी आके कुचल के चला जाता है। उसके मुंह के सामने एल बना के गया, वो एल का साइन लेके गया उसके मुंह के सामने। ले बेटा ले।
tough opponents lie in that bracket.
हमारे यहाँ एल का मतलब कुछ और होता है, उनके एल का मतलब लूजर होता है, तो बिग लूजर वाला साइन बना के लेके गया ऑस्ट्रेलिया। एंड या इसी के साथ हमारे पास पूरी 8 टीमें आ चुकी हैं जो कल खेलेंगी वर्ल्ड फाइनल की ट्रॉफी के लिए, और हम देखेंगे उसके कंटेंट के लिए। और हाइपर चार्ज तो मिलेगा ही फ्री में सबको, तो क्यों नहीं, बिल्कुल हाइपर चार्ज क्लेम कर लिया जाए।
It looks like they run out of energy, they run out of composure, right where it really matters.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as you say, those emotional players on a high, they're living the dream, but on a low, they're just losing it out. And it's not good for FUT Esports when that is the play. See, on that one, FUT Esports should have taken the first game, but a big turnaround from SK Gaming in the closing seconds. 2 big resets.
भाई क्या ही लेके गए हैं भाई वहां से जेम्स। LAW L बनाया जाता है भाई, L।
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Nita just didn't have the range required to be able to deal with what SK were bringing to the table. And don't get me wrong,
W तो for win है, W for win अलग है।
But the Nita just didn't really seem to do too much.
That's a struggle. Look at that. That emotion.
वाह वाह वाह, क्या बात, क्या बात।
Of hardship, of having to try and silence the haters, the doubters.
अरे आगे का भी तो दिखाओ यार, कैमरा मैन नल्ला है भाई। हैं आगे का सीन दिखाइए, क्या लड़ाई भिड़ाई क्या हुई, दांत तोड़े नहीं तोड़े वो दिखाओ, क्या है ये। WWE का मैच हो जाता है एक तो यहाँ पर, मजा ही आ जाता थोड़ा।
SK Gaming makes some great choices in the pick and ban of those last couple of sets. It's a well-deserved victory. It's one that's built on the academic basis from the coaching side and then the execution from these players. What a complete show.
ब्रेज भैया ऐसे उंगली दिखा के चुप कर रहे थे, उसी को चुप कर दिया गया, बोले चुप हो जा। छोटे बच्चों को कैसे पकड़ के ले आते हैं, इसका अंकल कौन है, पकड़ के लेके जाओ उसको। अंकल की उंगली पकड़ के लेके गए हैं उसको बाहर कि जाओ बेटा बजाओ, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा, रहने दो।
Yeah, they can't feel like they've played their grand final just yet. Coming out of this group, not in first place, tends to mean you get paired up against a top seed from another group. So that's a frightening prospect indeed. Let's not forget North America are 6-0 at Worlds right now. Crazy record.
चलो भाई, अभी हमें पता है तो हम अब कल देखेंगे।
From this match, I got my choice. I don't know how you voted online. Yeah, that's correct. Gold star for all of you. It's iChaos coming out with the honors. What a giga, Chad.
मजा आ गया। चलिए बंद करते हैं, आज का सिर्फ इतना ही था। कल का धमाल कल देखा जाएगा, लेकिन कल की राइवलरी पता नहीं किस चीज़ में देखने को मिलेगी। तो अगर मिलती है तो और मजा आएगा, नहीं मिलती है तो कुछ नहीं, ओ शीट करेंगे हम बैठ के। तब तक के लिए बाय पोपॉय एंड सेलरमैन के साथ साथ चाचा भतीजा, बाय बाय।